Live, and we are ready to talk some draft. Jack McMullen joining me here. We're gonna just bootstrap this thing, man. I think it's gonna be fun. We're basically going to talk some shop, talk about what's going on as it's going down. And what's beautiful, Jack, is that we have no freaking clue what's gonna happen. I think that's the best part about it is we have zero idea. Number one pick, it seems like could change from minute to minute. I still don't feel good about who it's going to be. I have no clue. And that creates a domino effect afterwards. So we won't know what's going to happen after that until we know who goes one. So this is going to be a fun draft. This might be one of the more unpredictable drafts in recent history, baseball wise.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, if it wasn't fun, I would leave. So that's on you to make it fun. All right. So I will try my hardest to try and enhance the fun, but it's on you to spearhead the fun. I do think that this is going to be a fun draft, though, because you've got some pretty talented college bats. College arms are not near the top here. You don't really even have arms near the top here. Who's the top pitching prospect in this draft? Is it Lesko?
It's gonna be Lesko, and I mean, you could see maybe a surprise with Brock Porter. Doubt it. Lesko seems like the number one guy. Brandon Barriera is probably going to go anywhere from 14 to 24 range, from what I've heard.
Snelling's fine too, right?
There's not nearly the pitching that we've seen in recent years, but there are so many bats. And what I like is the combination of really exciting high school bats, proven college bats. You got to juggle the two of those and try to figure out kind of, I guess, what's worth it. You want, and it's kind of different based on organization, right? Because you have a Drew Jones, Jackson Holliday type, which I think those guys are kind of in their own ballpark, but we don't know yet. We don't know. Someone else could creep into that number one spot. Or do you go to Brooks Lee, who's safer, but ultimately may not have the same upside as a Drew Jones? But that's the conversation that I think the Orioles are having right now. But what's crazy is that we have no freaking clue what's going to happen right now. And I'm also really excited. We got a lot going on in the chat as well. So I'll start filtering in some questions here and there. But any other thoughts you got before we jump into this?
I don't think so. This is going to be good, man. Kind of going off of that high floor productive college bat versus who you can dream on in the high school front. The top 5 picks are littered with high school guys that you can dream on, right? That's kind of the MO here. Peter said, Jack, tell me I'm getting an island. He put the farm on Jackson Holliday going 1-1. So we'll see what happens here. But a guy like Holliday, a guy like Drew Jones, a guy like Tamar Johnson, and honestly, I think maybe my favorite guy in this draft, Elijah Green. Those are all high school guys that you can totally dream on that can become exceptional. But then you look at a guy like Parada or like Zach Neto, who can immediately slot in and be the highest floor that you can find here. Yep. So it's a lot like the conversation that we were having before this season got started. And now with the All-Star break, I'm taking Ellie De La Cruz over Matt McLain 10 times out of 10 right now.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the year, it was, do you take the ceiling of Ellie compared with the floor, or do you take the floor of McLain with a limited ceiling compared to Ellie?
And I think where the Orioles are, and they have a lot of picks. They also acquired the Marlins compensation pick in the trade for Tanner Scott and Cole Sulser, which is in the 60 range, I believe. They have a little bit more draft capital. They also have another compensation pick as well. Their system is already fantastic. They know, they're not getting a pitcher at number one. Otherwise, I would be pushing for a pitcher. Obviously, if there was a guy available for them there, do they underslot with that first pick and swing for the fences? Rob Manfred's up at the podium now too. Are there boos getting littered in?
I don't know. Do you want me to turn the volume up here? I'll turn the volume up. See what
I would just love a little smattering of boos. But what I was saying honestly is do they swing for the fences because their system's already good, like really good, and they're in a spot where they can take a little bit more risk? Where I look at the Marlins, who have a pretty good system but can't afford to miss on an offensive prospect. How do they play it? I look at the Orioles. They have so many picks in the earlier rounds that they may try to overslot some high school guys in with their second, third, fourth selections, which is a reason why we might see them kind of underslot with that first pick. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. And again, not only will that first pick create a domino, it'll create a domino on the rest of their picks and what they're going to do afterwards. Because again, if it's Brooks Lee at underslot, we know they're going crazy with some of those other selections.
Yeah, a couple of good comments here from YouTube. SPF 1234. That seems like a very high SPF. Feel like I can't absorb any sun if it's at 1,234. But SPF 1234 said future Bowman first chase cards. That's exactly what we're looking at here, right? I mean, like anybody that is invested into the card game is watching this with the idea of who's going to make me a ton of money in a couple of years.
Yeah, which is cool. Which is cool. I like that. I like that we've gotten to that point with the hobby, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more. I feel like a lot more interest in the draft. I do feel like, I mean, we have almost a couple hundred people in this right now already. I feel like there's a lot more interest in the draft. And I think it was a great move by Major League Baseball to put this thing in the middle of All-Star weekend. I think it's really a great decision. I think that they're doing a better job with the combine, with the coverage, with the interviews of marketing these young players. And these young players are so talented now. I mean, I loved hearing from the Tamar Johnsons. I loved hearing from the Elijah Greens of the world. Like, it was really cool watching that combine situation. I know the team officials really liked it as well. And I'm really excited that MLB's drafted. It'll never compete with NBA, NFL because
no, never
get drafted into oblivion for a few years, obviously. Right. But I do like that there's more interest here because there should be. This is still a really exciting time, and there's so many talented baseball players. I'm just a big fan of them putting it in this weekend now, and I think it gives it a little bit more focus. Everyone seems to really feel confident about Tamar Johnson going 1. How do you feel about that?
Not confident enough to put my whole name, much like this guy who just has JG as his initials on there. So we'll see if JG gets burned or not. I think Tamar makes a lot of sense for them because they're going to take highest ceiling like you were just talking about, right? And, we've talked about it. We talked about it on the Just Baseball show. What the Orioles are doing right now, how hot they were in the month of July. You can look at the infield, third, short, and second, and next year replace Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo, and Rougned Odor with Kobe Mayo, Gunnar Henderson,
Jordan Westburg,
if you want, Westburg. Yeah, so go get somebody that you can dream on. And in the outfield, it's not really like they have a spot to fill either. You can hold on to Mullins if you want. I think they should move Santander.
Hayes is great. I like Stowers. Kerstad,
Kerstad's hitting the crap out of the ball right now.
Hauser is heating up big time. Their first round pick last year. Like, they are in a position, just swing for the freaking fences. Go for but what's the version of that, right? Is the version of that going with the biggest upside player at number 1? Or is it going, big overslot high school guys with your second, third, and fourth selection?
I think it's go with Tamar Johnson. I think it's go with a guy who can become the best bat out of this class. I think that's what we see with Tamar Johnson, because I think we see better athlete with Drew Jones, certainly better athlete with Elijah Green. But Tamar Johnson, what he has shown with the bat, I think can just far surpass really anybody else in this draft. So you take the guy you can dream on the most, and obviously this is an offensive game. If you're drafting a position player, you don't need him to play a good second base. Come on now. If you can go grab bat to ball Dan Uggla, go do it.
Bat to ball Dan Uggla. I mean, he is that freaky offensively. And it's one of those things, though, it's so hard to project a high school hit tool. And that's what, I see Tamar swing. Trust me, I get it. It's really freaking good. He can really swing the bat, and we've seen that. But is it an elite hit tool to the degree that we know, that we think it could be? We won't know until he's really out there. And if it isn't, then what's the fallback? Then what is he? If he's not hitting really well, it's going to be very difficult for him to be an above average player. That's my only concern, is there's just so much on the bat here. Whereas an Elijah Green, a Drew Jones, even a Jackson Holliday, but more on the Drew Jones front, those guys can be phenomenal defenders at their spot.
Last guy to go 1-1 like that, where obviously, yes, this was under slotting, but Mickey Moniak, right? It was, if the bat doesn't pan out, then the glove's going to be fine too. That was a whiff of 1-1, right? So my thing with the number 1 overall pick, and yes, it's such a crapshoot. I mean, we just saw Mark Appel debut this year at 30. Yeah. It's such a crapshoot, but if you've got 1-1, don't miss. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would be
Don't miss.
terrified as a GM to miss on the first overall pick. And the beauty of Mike Elias' situation here is that he shouldn't be afraid to miss because he's already hit with a guy like Adley Rutschman and with a guy like Gunnar frickin' Henderson. I mean, he's got this gluttony of riches right now. There is a phenomenal system in Baltimore. You're just adding a top 50 prospect, maybe a top 40 guy immediately into one of the top 5 or 6.
Yeah. No, the pick is in too now. So let's hold off for a second. See what
you think Rob could have had a better suit for this.
Jackson Holliday. Oh, Peter Apple. We did it.
Oh my God.
We did it. 1 for 1 on the Just Baseball mock draft, baby. 1 for 1 on the JB mock draft. And I'm going to also do some screen share at points too. Let's just talk about the pick real quick before we freak out about Peter cashing the 1,100 plus 1,100 bet on Jackson Holliday. We were one of the first to have Holliday number 1 on our mock draft. And this is a dude that has had outrageous helium over the last couple months. I mean, literally has almost seemed to have emerged from nowhere. A guy that seemed very set on going to college maybe 6-7 months ago, but continued to just get man strength, but also just develop as a baseball player. And that's usually what happens when you're the son of a longtime big leaguer and an all-star. In Matt Holliday, he's obviously just kind of grown into his body, continues to just be a more physical, well-rounded player. And I mean, this is a great pick here, I think, for the Orioles. You're looking at a potential 5-tool shortstop who can do a little bit of everything for you with good staying power at the position. This is a great pick. I was happy with Holliday. I think they couldn't go wrong here, but Holliday is a really exciting and another shortstop now for them in that system that can stick there.
And he can stick there. That's the big thing because Gunnar Henderson looks like he's not sticking at short. So you need a shortstop, right? And I think that Jackson Holliday can be that guy. Going back to your first point there about a guy that just kept on physically maturing and being the son of a big leaguer, a lot of people are saying, oh, he looks way young. Like he's the youngest looking one out of the bunch. His dad's Matt freaking Holliday. Like he's going to look like a Major League Baseball player at some point. He's not.
I got no concern about that.
No, like physical maturation, I'm not concerned at all. And he's listed at 6'1", 175 right now. He's obviously insanely talented. The hit tool is great. He can just do everything really well. And I think on pipeline here, yeah, you're going to see 60 hit, 55 power, 60 run, 55 arm. Like he just does everything at slightly above average or well above average. And that is the recipe for success if you want to go 1-1 with a high school guy.
And this kid's 18. You know, he's a younger high school guy. He's somebody that, again, continues to get better every time we see him. Bloodlines are always going to play. That's why Drew Jones and Holliday, it's part of the reason why they're up there. But this was the first domino that we kind of expected here, which is the funny part because, you know, we have this as our number 1. We have Drew Jones number 2, which I think is all but the expectation here, right? Drew Jones, we presume, would go number 2, and that's who their number 1 overall prospect is, you know, on MLB Pipeline. And I think if we did draft rankings, he probably would have been our number 1 overall prospect as well. Though Jackson Holliday at shortstop, left-handed hitting shortstop with the tools like you mentioned, is just extremely exciting. Do you think there's any chance we see Kumar here?
There's a chance. Would you mind featuring Michael T's comment here? Because I think he's got it spot on here. That's on YouTube. Michael T, quote, "The kid is the real deal. Soft hands, great awareness in the box. Bloodlines are legit." I mean, that's everything. Like, that's the positive of Jackson Holliday. And obviously the bloodlines are great with Drew Jones too. The bloodlines are great with a guy like Cam Collier. Dad Lou is a major league player as well. I mean, there are guys with great bloodlines here. But with Holliday, it just feels like he's the smoothest of the bunch. Kumar was the best hitter. Elijah Green was the most athletic. Drew Jones, maybe the guy that you can dream on the most. But Jackson Holliday was the highest floor guy that you dream on here. And that is a beautiful thing to seek. Something that I want to do for each guy is I'll pull up, you know, the top prospect list of the team that just took them. And I want to talk about where they immediately
slot in.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because our midseason update, I would presume, I don't know, with the way Baseball America has been lately, they might update this tonight. They've been unbelievable with how on it the folks at Baseball America have been this year with their prospect updates. It's been unbelievable. But I think we're going to be one of the first to be updating after the draft and kind of show you where these guys slot in. I love that, Jack, because that's a fun way to give people an idea of where these kids stack up. Honestly, though, where Holliday would stack up with the Orioles is kind of a testament to how good their system is. Because I would argue we go to the Orioles right now, dude. Where does Holliday slot in here?
I think right after Cowser. I think the number 1 overall pick is the number 4 prospect in the Orioles system.
And like DL Hall is right there with the way he's throwing right now. It's pretty nuts what we're seeing from DL Hall. I agree. You're going with the shortstop, who has all the upside, and DL Hall has some injury concerns and some command issues, but overall, has been just insane this year.
99 punch outs in 59 innings.
The fact that the number 1 overall pick and not an underslot guy, I can promise you it's full slot value, or at least close to it. That's your 4th best prospect. That's unbelievable. Some will probably say rank him ahead of Cowser. I can understand that, but look at what Cowser's been doing over the last month and a half. I think Cowser, belongs probably just ahead of him.
Listen, Cowser in 78 games has a 402 OBP.
Yeah,
and he's
just heating up power wise. But that was crazy. That was one of our big picks on justbaseball.com was Jackson Holliday at plus 1100. What else we got here? Parada question. So I could see Parada going anywhere from honestly 3 on, because this is one of the more well-rounded hitters in terms of power, bat to ball. It's unorthodox setup wise, but he's really good. Catching is a question. He's not a good receiver. He's got a good arm. It's similar to Henry Davis, where you're really taking the bat and hoping it works defensively. Not quite as toolsy, I would say, as Davis, but still really good tools. Yeah. I think Parada is going to go 5. That's where we have him in the mock. I think it's going to be somewhere in that range. I could see him following 7 or 8, but I don't see Parada falling out of the top 10. Almost no way.
Yeah, no shot. Henry Davis is a better defensive catcher too. They're comparable offensively. I'd say lean Henry Davis offensively, but Davis has a hose, and
he's a hose, but receiving and everything else is a little bit suspect.
Yeah, and Parada, he's fine at receiving and things like that, right? It's not like he blows Henry Davis out of the water defensively. Comparable there, and I give the advantage to Henry Davis. Now, Henry Davis, he went number 1 overall last year, but that was not the best player in last year's draft. I think everybody knew that. He was just the underslot guy that went 1-1 so the Pirates could spend elsewhere. So we'll see what happens with Parada, but this is a guy that immediately, much like what you saw with Jack Leiter, you could see Parada's professional debut come in Double-A.
Well, and we talked about that with Henry Davis. If he was healthy, I think Henry Davis is probably already, cruising through double now.
He's knocking on triples door.
Yeah. With the way he can hit. So we're waiting on the clock. Look at Jackson Hall. He really does look young.
He looks young, dude.
Which is great.
But it's his face. It's just his facial features.
Yeah, look at his.
He just is a young-looking guy.
He's strong. He's a strong kid. Also, Matt Holliday still looks the same age.
Yes.
I'm floored by Matt Holliday right now.
They still haven't gotten the pick in yet. I think everybody knows where this pick is going, right?
You would assume so, but dude, would you fault them for taking a Brooks Lee here?
Yeah.
You would?
I would. I think you've already got Lawler at short. You've got your shortstop of the future here. And you grabbed Lawler last year. I don't think you need a Brooks Lee. I understand that you can move Brooks Lee, but I don't think you need him here. I think go grab Drew Jones here. And if you have that outfield of Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll, and Drew Jones, oh my gosh. Shout out the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. And the thing with the D-backs too, is that kind of outfield is the scariest thing I think I could ever imagine in terms of there's probably not a better young trio right now in professional baseball, I think, than those three potentially.
Yeah.
And that's what we have here at 2. Rangers going with Brooks Lee at 3. Let's see what the pick is here as it is now officially in. I'm watching ESPN. You're watching MLB Network, right?
Yeah. Again, Rob needs to get a better suit.
Yeah. Drew Jones. All right. So we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2 right now. I think this will be our first miss right here with Brooks Lee, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I would probably argue that not much is really changing in terms of what we think is going to happen here, right? Like what are we thinking at 3? Because you could argue that the Rangers need pitching, but there's no shot that they're taking a pitcher at 3. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's hard.
What do the Rangers need?
Do you want to recap the Drew Jones pick, or do you want to talk Rangers right now?
Let's talk Drew Jones first.
Let's talk Drew Jones first, because again, Drew Jones, probably highest ceiling of anybody in this class. He, as you see with Pipeline, 55 hits, 60 power, 70 runs, 65 arms, 70 field. He is a freak athlete. 6'4", $180, is really impressive, and we're going to see a massive number come through in terms of his signing bonus. We'll see a very big sum of money go to Drew Jones here. But he's got pop. He can run like the wind. I don't think that falls off with that frame. He's going to be a 30 base potential guy, a 30 stolen base potential guy. He's going to have the possibility of being, a multi-time Gold Glover like his dad. I mean, look at that, 90 off the mound and a 6'3", 160. A 6'3", 60 is nuts.
I mean, it's crazy. Outfield velo 93, infield velo 90. Like this is a 5-tool potential guy. That it's really about the hit tool. It's hard to predict that. He's hit at every stop. Yeah. He's hit at every stop. He's an athletic hitter. I don't think there's that many moving parts to his swing. I mean, you look at the grades, man. It's like he runs a 6'3". He takes good routes in the outfield. He has his dad's instincts to a degree. And then also has a hose for an arm and has way more room to fill out. I don't think people realize that he's 6'4".
Yeah.
6'4", 180. I mean, there's probably 20, 30 pounds of muscle that he could add here and still be able to keep some legitimate speed on. That's insane. There's a legitimate chance that he could be one of the best prospects in baseball with this projection.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm looking at the Diamondbacks right now, and that is as top-heavy a system as you can find because of the front 2 guys. And then that's it. So at the very least, Drew Jones will be the number 3 prospect in the organization.
Yep,
the question is he 2 or 3? He's behind Lawler?
He's behind Lawler. I think you look at Lawler, that guy was, a 1-1 candidate last year. Ends up going, in that early still part of the first round. He's raking at every stop right now, or at least he's raking through the lower levels, adjusting to high A now. I think he's exceeded expectations to a degree, or at least has performed the way we were hoping he would perform. That's a guy that probably sticks at 2 there, but it's Drew Jones at like 2B. And if he gets off to a hot start and Lawler isn't, continuing to just mash, he could easily pass him. And it's a much needed influx here for this system, which all of a sudden has more pitchers than hitters, which is interesting because Ryan Nelson, Dre Jameson, Blake Walston, these are all good pitching prospects. Brandon Pfaadt might be the best.
And I like what Bryce Jarvis does too.
Yeah, he's had a rough go, which is wild because he was one of my favorites out of that draft, and I still believe in Jarvis too. And Ciccone out of Miami is another good option. So they really needed a bat, and I mean this is the best bat they could have got. I think either Jackson Holliday or Drew Jones was a perfect scenario for them. Also, we have some other questions coming in. Kendall says the Rangers are going to kill me, aren't they?
Probably.
What would be killing them? Oh, here we go. That would be the answer. Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker are back together, though. That is sick.
Dude, I'm going to be watching the Frisco Rough Riders all the time. I know damn well they're going to have Leiter and Rocker in Frisco together. AA. That is insane, man.
But the medicals. What about the medicals?
Yeah, they're showing his indie ball highlights right now. I mean, listen, he was 97 and 99 in indie ball, right? And he was just snapping off gross sliders. He was the best college pitcher in the country last year. He was better than Leiter. I really believe he was better than Leiter. I think he can be a dog. Wow. He joins a good system, man.
I'm happy for Kumar Rocker because this last year, the way things played out, we figured no way it would end up better than it would have been had he just gotten an opportunity to sign with the Mets and everything went normally. And here he is a year later going number 3 overall.
Dude, he bet on himself.
He bet on himself and it worked out. I mean, the Rangers needed pitching. They need pitching. They have offense, whether it's at the big league level, whether it's prospects, whether it's the return that they've got for Joey Gallo. Like, they've got an influx of offensive prospects. They needed an arm. And this is the best arm, realistically, that they probably could have drafted, assuming everything is good to go. I assume that the Texas Rangers did their due diligence here, right? Like, this is not the Texas Rangers of the last 5, 6, 7 years. This is Chris Young's Texas Rangers. And Chris Young seems to be doing a good job. He's a really smart guy. He's always been known as one of the smartest guys. I believe in Chris Young. And if he seems to believe that this is the right pick and that Kumar Rocker is healthy, I like it. I like it. As nuts as it is.
That's insane.
This tells me that they like it. And what's crazy is one of the betting props, which was hilarious, was who's getting drafted first, Kumar Rocker or Carson Wisenhunt?
Well, one of them cashed. Hey, I had a prior commitment for this pick 4 for the Pirates, so I'm going to go dark for a moment, but I'll be back for the 5th pick.
Yep. So Jack double booked himself, and he's going to go talk on the Pirates stream just for pick 4. But I'm going to kind of take this time to answer any questions you all have. That was insane. That was one of the most unexpected things ever. Happy to kind of answer whatever else you all have. Any other questions? We've got Brock Porter to the Tigers. Here's the thing with Brock Porter now, though, is I feel like every pitcher just kind of like fell a little bit. So I'm interested to see how it goes from here on. Lesko is probably still the next guy that we expect to go. If you look at the mock draft over here, you can kind of see we were expecting first arm to go at 10. And I still think the Rockies are going to take an arm personally. I mean, they've gone Veen, Montgomery. They've gone high upside bats over the last couple years. They need pitching. Their system is barren when it comes to pitching. I think this is a perfect spot for them to go get one of Lesko and or Porter. If Lesko goes before 10, then, it's going to be interesting. But looking at where the Tigers are at, I'm not sure exactly where they go. I think they go Gavin Cross. I just think that's going to be the best player available for them. But there's a chance Porter's there. The only reason we didn't have Porter going to the Tigers was that he was off the board in our mock, but I don't hate that either. And the the Tigers could probably use him, but I could see them going offensive as well. What other questions we got coming in? I agree with this. This is one of the cooler things, though. I mean, Jack and Kumar pitching together potentially at the big league level is one of the craziest things that we've seen. I mean, this is a really cool story, and especially given what's gone on with Kumar, absolutely love to see it. Who do I think the Marlins will get? In our mock, I have Jace Young, and I still really do like Jace Young. I think I know the Marlins are going bat. We know they're not taking an arm. That's 100% guaranteed. But what bat? I think they could do a little bit of anything. I could see them going. I would lean college. I think the Marlins need to acknowledge their faults here and realize that, hey, we don't do a good job of identifying and developing high school bats. Let's go for a college bat that's further along that we can't mess up. respectfully speaking. Jace Young is that guy for me. I love the bat to ball. I love the power. I mean, the guy really does have some pop too, and he's not fully tapped into it. And also, he's just able to play a good second base. His brother's a heck of a hitter, and he might be even better. I'm a big fan of Jace Young. Obviously, if Brooks Lee falls, that's a no-brainer. If Kevin Parada's there, that's a no-brainer. I don't think the Marlins can go wrong with a college bat there. I would not love an Elijah Green selection. That would be a little bit too risky for my liking. But that's kind of where I stand on that. I like Green as a prospect. I just don't like him as a prospect for the Marlins. And I just don't think that's the best environment for him to develop in. I think history would show you that. Yeah, that is absolutely facts. I mean, that could be one of the best defensive outfields in Major League Baseball when it ultimately happens. And I don't even know. I mean, Drew would have to be the center fielder, which at that point you have two other center fielders playing each corner. So you've got three center fielders playing the outfield. That's a joke. Corbin Carroll, Drew Jones, Alec Thomas will be phenomenal out there. Next question comes from Lions. What's going on, my man? Mariners take a college armor prep bat. Let's see what this selection is. Termar. There goes Termar. So we had Cam Collier. I started hearing, up until, right before the draft, we heard the Collier might be going at the 7 range. I think that's a possibility over to the Cubs. I'd keep an eye out on that. But this is a fantastic pick for the Pirates. You're getting another great hitting infielder, especially with the frustration health-wise of Nick Gonzalez. He just has not been able to stay healthy, unfortunately. Wish him a speedy recovery. I think he's extremely talented. Termar is the best offensive player on the board in terms of upside, in terms of what he's already capable of. Termar is the right pick. I love it. I could have happily gone with Brooks Lee here, but if you're the Pirates, you're kind of set at shortstop right now. Between O'Neill, Leover Peguero, I think they're all right there. So I like the idea of going for the best bat you can. I'd argue this is the best bat. You can maybe argue Brooks Lee. I think Termar has a lot more upside offensively. But now you can see as we look over at MLB Pipeline, their top prospect rankings here. We've got Jones off the board, Holliday off the board, Termar off the board. It's still pretty wide open talent-wise. I really hope the Marlins don't take Jacob Berry personally as a Marlins guy, but I do have a feeling that could be a possibility. If you're watching, the clips that they're showing of Termar's swing right now, his bat to ball is phenomenal. This is a 70 grade hitter probably with burgeoning power, a really good approach, really well-rounded. I'm a big fan of Termar Johnson's game, and I think that's a really, really good pick for the Pirates. I think they've got to be thrilled that Termar was there for them at 4. I mean, this is starting to get into a little bit of chaos here, though. What is going to happen at 5 and the snowball of that? The Marlins, I would assume, want a college bat. What are we going to get here from the Washington Nationals, who we mocked Parada, and I still think Parada has a good shot at going here, but the Nationals could also go with an infielder, right? Like they could go with a Brooks Lee. They could go with a lot of different guys, I think, that could give them. I would lean Elijah Green even too, potentially. Their system is so bad. I think they need some big time upside here. Oh, what do you think about the Khalil Watson situation? I clicked the wrong one. It's rough. I mean, look, it's not the end. I think they can work things out with him. He has a lot of maturing to do. Khalil should be doing a lot better right now. And I think the issue is not talent, and it's a lot of other things, but I think the Marlins can get things right with him. If they can, just figure out how to approach this situation in terms of how to manage, somewhat of a loose cannon and a very immature kid that, still has all the talent in the world. I don't think he's a bad kid. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. It's just, he's just dealing with some, I guess, just maturity issues as he transitions from high school to professional baseball and handles a lot of expectations. How far does Elijah Green fall? I don't think he falls too far. Let me take a sip real quick. I don't think he falls too far. I could see Let's say the Nationals don't pick him. I don't think the Marlins would pick him. I think the Cubs are going to go with a Cam Collier. I would say we could see him kind of selected in this 8 or 9 range. I don't see him falling much further than that. There maybe is a scenario where he could fall to like 12. I just don't even see it going that far. So I don't see Elijah Green falling too far. I think there's just too much upside here. This guy was at one point a 1-1 candidate. Some swing and miss concern kind of scaled that back a little bit, but he's just so talented. I think that we're going to see him go relatively high. Yeah, so we had Susac, I believe. Where did we have Susac? Angels. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I could see the Mets going Susac at 11. I could also see, Susac going to the Angels at 13. I don't think he falls past 14 because you have the 2 Mets picks where I think the Mets are going to take him with one of those. And if the Mets don't take him with the first one, I think the Angels will. I don't know if the Mets want to risk it, so the Mets might end up taking him at 11. If Brock Porter's there, though, I could see the Mets ultimately wanting to take Porter. They could use some more arms, but ultimately, I love Tamar Johnson too, by the way. He's doing the interview right now. Just a great kid. I could see it go a lot of different directions here. I think it's going to be Cam Collier. I really do. That seems to be where things are trending. That seems to be what the word is in terms of some momentum with Collier to the Cubs. And so far, the early procedure of this draft, starting to shake out that way. I think the Pirates were a team that were very much tied, from what I was hearing, to a Cam Collier. They ultimately go with Tamar. It's kind of starting to make sense that at number 7, Cam Collier could be joining the Chicago Cubs organization here, and that would be a great spot for him. I don't really see him falling outside of that 7 spot. I'd be floored if Collier falls beyond that. That's a good question on Young. I guess somebody has to slide, right? If we're talking about it. I still think the Marlins could take Young, but with the way this is shaken out now, with all the high school guys going ahead, if the Marlins don't take Jace Young, realistically, he could go 8 here. If he doesn't, I could see him fall, potentially to the teens. I don't think that's impossible. Waiting on my man Jack to join back in a minute here. Alex, thank you, my man. I really appreciate your support since day one, bro. I really appreciate it. You're the man. And kind words definitely mean a lot, man. I really do appreciate you, dude. Do the Cubs take Collier over Lee if both are available? I don't think so. I also think there's no way that Lee is available at that point. But for argument's sake, I don't think you could. I love Cam Collier, 17-year-old who's performing on the Cape when he was there. I mean, really held his own as a 17-year-old who skipped his senior year of high school, went the JUCO route, and then one of the youngest players in the Cape ever, I think. That is really impressive. The kid is made for it. He has the ability to really kind of play up to his competition. But I don't see a scenario where you can pass on a Brooks Lee who puts up some of the best contact rates in all of college baseball. Also put up really good exit velos. He did a lot of really good things this past year. He's just so well-rounded, so talented, proven track record of hitting. I don't see how you can pass up on someone like Brooks Lee if he falls to you there. So you got a bunch more good questions. Yeah, 80 grade voice Jack is on a Pirates thing right now. He double booked himself. So waiting on my guy to come back. What do I think the Yankees do in round 1? So I think they can go a lot of different routes, and I think Yankees fans are going to be surprised. I don't think it's going to be somebody that they're expecting It could be anyone from like a Spencer Jones to, from Vanderbilt to, I personally like Peyton Graham for them. I think he's a perfect candidate to go there, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's going to be the pick. I could see them going Spencer Jones. I could see them going, tall, athletic upside guy like him. It just seems to be the Yankees profile. But Peyton Graham, big time power potential. And really the only question is swing and miss. And the Yankees have done such a good job of developing, especially guys that have some swing and miss concerns and being able to either tap into more power if they're guys that haven't tapped into power, or if you have a lot of power and have some swing and miss. The Yankees have been really good about that. Justin Crawford. That's a good question because Crawford is probably one of the toughest guys to peg because we have him going at 21, but he's a high school guy with a lot of helium as of late. He's super talented, huge upside. Obviously has the bloodlines as the son of Carl Crawford, fastest player in the draft, I would say. I think he's got a high floor because 6'3", lefty, with plus speed and really good bat to ball skills. Like that's a fourth outfielder, worst case scenario. Obviously you don't want to take a fourth outfielder in the first round, but a lot of guys aren't even big leaguers out of this first round. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of it. High floor here with Crawford. I know the game is moved more towards slug, but I think he has the potential to slug. He's 6'3", 175. There's some more room to fill out. And I think, his swing is more geared for contact, but I do think that there's at least 15, 20 home run power there if he continues to grow into that big frame because he does have a big frame. I would love Crawford at that 21 pick for the Mariners. I think that would be a steal for them. And I think it's a perfect organization. We're looking at the Nationals on the clock here. And there's a team that I don't think there's a team that needs to hit on this pick, on their first round pick, more than the Washington Nationals. Like their system stinks. We know now that there's rumors that they may be willing to trade Juan Soto after he turned down 440. I really do think that there's a legitimate chance that, they go for the biggest return possible there. But ultimately, I really do want to see the Nationals hit on this pick here because this is a system that is really weak and an organization that's in a really bad spot. And personally, I would go for the safest pick I could. I'm not swinging for the fences here. I would go Brooks Lee, and let's see what they do. Wow. Okay, they're going upside. And now Brooks Lee is on the table for the Marlins. Brooks Lee has to be the pick. It has to be the pick if you're the Marlins. It has to be the pick. It's Cooper Jerpy, which is I know it's a funny spelling, but it's Cooper Jerpy. I'm sending out a tweet right now. Brooks Lee has to be the pick because I am so in on everything Brooks Lee brings to the table, and the Marlins can't screw that guy up. They cannot develop any offensive players. He's back.
Hey, man.
He's back.
Man. How we doing?
I don't know. You're just – there we go.
There we go.
Brooks Lee is on the board, Jack. Brooks Lee is on the board, and the Marlins are going to – they're going to take the DH, though. They're going to take Jacob Berry.
Yeah, have to, right?
So right now the Marlins are in a spot, though. I like Brooks Lee. I think he's the pick. Kevin Parada is not a bad pick either. They need a catcher as well. But what are you thinking here if you're the Marlins? I gave the whole rundown to those who are not, close followers of the Marlins about how they can't develop anything offensively. Take the safest bet. Brooks Lee had a 93% zone contact rate and a well above average 90th percentile exit velo. It's the safest bet. He's a switch hitter. He's fast. He's going to stick at shortstop. Your first round pick last year was just sent home, and he's a shortstop. Your other shortstop prospect, Jose Salas, is moving to third. Jazz Chisholm's a second baseman. Miguel Rojas' days are kind of winding down. I think he's the Marlins shortstop. Take the shortstop who will be up extremely quickly.
Dude, my mind is saying you can't develop anybody. Jacob Stallings is terrible. Go get Parado, who you know is foolproof.
What's Brooks Lee, though?
Foolproof. It's tough. You need a college bat. Again, I'm so with you. The organizational philosophy is like, I don't know, like Joe Mack could be really good. He's 19. I have no faith in the Marlins developing Joe Mack.
Zero.
But I've also got no faith in the Marlins developing Khalil Watson. So I don't think you can go wrong with a college bat here. Now, if they did go with a Barriera type, kids coming home, play the Eminem and Dr. Dre.
If they go Barriera, I'm turning the stream off. And that's with all due respect to Barriera is a phenomenal pitcher who's going to be a very good big leaguer. By God, the Marlins do not need Brandon Barriera. Also, they're so zoomed in on ESPN on Jeff Passan's mug right now. I wish I could show you. It's like that, like right up in his mug.
Is it the fish eye? Is it like the Beastie Boys album?
Yeah, it looks like fish eyes. But Mike Brown, thank you so much. I'm sorry that the other coverage is unbearable. I'm glad that we could give you some entertainment here.
Man, maybe I flip over to ESPN right now? I've got my guy Colazzo.
Honestly, dude, I kind of like the ESPN setup right now. They've got Kylie's best available. You know, kind of like it looks like the NFL draft.
It doesn't look like the NFL draft.
I'm kind of rocking with it.
I'm going to try ESPN for a little bit.
Give it a go.
Because I do like what Colazzo and Mayo and Callis have to say. Oh, I love KP Omaha, though. Kyle Peterson, I think, is the best analyst in baseball.
What about Carl Ravitch? What's going on? Pardon the punctuation. Love you guys. Cincinnati Reds. Good baseball right now. Where do they pick?
Hey, did you answer Owen's question about Jerpy?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Jerpy.
And then how about this? Idli Amin said Jerpy and Jelly need to be on the same team at some point.
Jelly, that really doesn't seem like it should be spelled Jelly. Oh, look at the war room here with the Marlins. A bunch of brainiacs over
There's
here.
Kim.
Yeah.
Shouldn't
Was
Kim
that a JJ Bleday framed picture up there? I swear to God. Piss me off, please. Dude! Dude! You have a shortstop on the board.
They have him listed as a right fielder.
DH. I just you have Kevin Parada on the board. You have Brooks Lee on the board. And you take the guy that is stuck to first base. He can't play third.
Man, they just drafted him as a right fielder.
They drafted him as a right fielder.
It was listed.
Gonzalez drafted as a shortstop. Good God. That is
okay. Let's walk you through what he did at LSU.
Look, I know the numbers are good.
Best conference in America. I just want to read them to you. Okay. Let me just read them to you. Best conference in America, 53 games for Jacob Berry this year. He hit 370 with 15 homers, 48 driven in, a 464 OBP, a 630 slugging. That's a 1094 OPS. In 53 games, he walked 27 times. He struck out 22 times. 15 home runs, 22 strikeouts. He's a switch hitter. He's a really good hitter. He has no home defensively. But you know what the good news about the National League is? There was a new
If you tell me that they have a freaking DH, I'm going to freak out.
He just drafted a DH 6th overall, man.
6th overall. You got Garrett Cooper already. Like, you're basically hoping he's Garrett Cooper. What, a switch hitting Garrett Cooper?
You are hoping that he's a switch hitting Garrett Cooper.
I'm good on that.
Lead the Cubs. What did I say, Aram? That's interesting. That's Galaxy Brain from Owen Westlake here.
Like, honestly, I forget I'm a Marlins guy too, but then they do shit like that. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, so now let's play the Marlins game. Yuri Perez, their top prospect. Max Meyer, Khalil Watson, JJ Bleday. Does Barry slot in?
I'll show you where he slides in with the Marlins now.
Yeah.
Right here. Now, realistically, he's a really good bat. I don't want to knock the kid. Like he's a very, very good offensive prospect.
5.
It's I'm putting him ahead of Bleday. I am. He's youthful. I think I would expect that if you're drafting a guy here, you are hoping that he is going to get to what JJ Bleday is doing a little bit quicker. I think he's a better prospect than Bleday offensively. With the DH in the National League, I'm putting him ahead of Bleday. But my top prospect rankings would be a little different than this, though. I'd have Yuri ahead of him, Myers ahead of him.
You sure Yuri ahead of him?
I don't know if anybody's ahead of Yuri very soon. I would consider Salas starting to get into that conversation, but yeah, I think he kind of slots in at the 3 or 4 range. Which, if they took Brooks Lee, no brainer, he's the 3. He's the 3rd best prospect in the Marlins system. Same with Parada. Yeah, so that was cool, I guess.
Tell you what, man, I'm so excited for this Cubs pick here.
It's got to be Brooks Lee. Or are we still building around Ed Howard?
18-year-old Christian Hernandez.
Dude, he's nasty. He's nasty.
He's nasty, but where is he? He's at the complex, right?
Yeah, I think he's still.
I think you grab Brooks Lee, you put him in South Bend immediately. So he just starts in high A. Could play 20 games there and go to double. Yeah, I think you do it. I mean, like, you've got Nico Horner, but the beauty of Horner is he plays everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're not worried about that. You're taking Brooks Lee here. And this is a guy that's going to get to the big leagues very quickly.
You take Brooks Lee or Collier? It's hard.
We're hearing some Collier rumblings.
I think Collier's really good, man.
I think Collier's really good too, but if I'm the Cubs, man, like this isn't a 5-year rebuild right now. You're looking at competing in the next 2. Brooks Lee can get there in 2.
In the next,
I know you don't draft that way, but I would like to.
So next year, Brennan Davis is going to start again in triple.
Yep.
PCA is going to be in double.
I just think Lee fits the timeline, or Parada. Also, I mean, right now, all of your eggs are kind of in the Miguel Amaya basket, too, as he comes back from injury. I still like Miguel Amaya behind the dish. Parada is also an option. You know, we know Wilson Contreras is gone. They need catching depth.
Mm-hmm. I bet they extend Wilson. If they actually hold him, I think there's a chance that they hold him at this deadline, and I think that there's a chance that they extend him.
Let's see what we got here. No way. Wow.
That's a reach. They need pitching so bad. They need pitching
so bad. But why not Lesko here?
Again, Lesko, high school.
What?
Lesko, high school guy.
They want a college arm.
Speaking to what you're saying, they needed somebody that lines up with the timeline, and Cade Horton is a guy that lines up with the timeline.
So Horton, he's a guy that we didn't really get to see fully explode. And we've mentioned it in our write-up here on Horton, actually, where he was a two-way player, but missed a year with, I believe it was Tommy John surgery.
It was Tommy John.
Yeah. And then really started developing on the mound in the back end of the year because the guy was hitting and pitching. Over his last 5 starts, 2.61 ERA, 49 Ks, and his draft stock just kept rising. I think if there were 5 more starts for him to have, he'd probably boost himself into the no-brainer top 10 conversation. I think that you have the Cubs looking at it that way, and they're buying stock as it's rising. And this could be a pick where we look at it 6 months from now and we're like, they saw what was coming from Cade Horton. And it's an explosive fastball. It's one of the best breaking balls, I think, in the draft. It gives him the floor of a reliever, but I think he's got A lot of potential. I don't hate the pick. I really don't. I don't hate it. It's a reach. It's a reach, but you assume it's an underslot here. I would almost fully assume it's an underslot. And if that's the case, they're going to get creative on the back end of this. I don't hate the pick at all. If they're saving a large portion of money here, I don't hate the pick at all.
No, I don't hate it. I actually, the more that I let it kind of fester in my brain, the more I like it, actually. And Horton was the top college arm on the board, according to Pipeline. He was right ahead of Prelip. He was right ahead of Gabriel Hughes at Gonzaga.
Yep. Tidwell.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy that was farther ahead was Kumar Rocker, I guess. If you consider Rocker a college arm, but he's now
even though he's technically
where was Rocker? 38? Yeah, that's a joke.
38.
Yeah. No, that's a joke. But again, ahead of Cooper Jerpy. Here's the thing. I think that he pairs really well with the starters of the future for the Cubs. And you look at the starters of the future, they're not really up with the big league team. I mean, Marcus Stroman, that deal's already a disaster. Justin Steele is nothing special. When I talk starters of the future, I think a 1-2 punch of Horton and Caleb Killian right now with the 3 and 4 of Hers and Wicks. You love Wicks. We really like Hers.
Wicks just got promoted to double.
Yeah, Wicks just got promoted to double. But let's look at Horton and Killian here, because you hope that Horton can turn into a Killian, who was acquired with Canario for Chris Bryant from San Francisco last year.
Yeah,
Killian is their now prized possession on the mound. He's their top pitching prospect. Killian is a fastball with ride. He's a high spin fastball guy, high 90s. He pairs it with a 2-seam, and he's got that, like power 12-6 curveball. Horton is a totally different look. Horton is heavy, heavy, heavy. He's working on a cutter, and he's got that crazy slider like you mentioned. So these two, while they are both big physical right-handers, couldn't have more different fastball profiles.
Which is what I love. I love it. I love it because you mentioned them, and they're the most similar of any other pitching prospects, right? Everybody else is a lefty. You got Wicks, you got Hers, you got even Marquez. It's almost all lefties the rest of the way. They needed a power right-hander, because I wouldn't even call Killian a power pitcher, really.
No.
They desperately needed a power pitcher, and they got one here. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
They got it. Looking at the Cubs' top prospects here, I mean, he enters a loaded, granted, position player laden system. If you're looking at the Cubs' top prospects right now, tell me where Horton slots in here, because I don't think it's that high. But again,
really, I think you're going to be surprised, because I think I would probably throw him ahead of Killian.
You think ahead of Killian? I don't think ahead of Killian at this point.
Killian's 25.
But Killian's already 5 years so much in the minors.
Horton has 5 years.
He's proved so much in the minors, though. Kate Horton has proved
some
nothing.
Rough patches. Last year was like the breakout for him at 25 years old.
I don't know, man. Horton has done nothing in professional baseball. You got to remember that.
But that's how it is, though. Like
that's how this draft is. You're right. I mean, like that's how. Like
I get where you're coming from, but in the prospect rankings, it's going to be. You're hoping that Horton is better than Caleb Killian.
Do you think he's ahead of Wicks?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
here's
the problem: he's not ahead of this guy.
Right, like that's the thing. I mean, it's
already changing. He's probably not ahead of this guy.
Yeah.
Well, here's the good thing: is hopefully this dude will be graduated, so we don't have to stack them up against each other. Because it's just, why am I supposed to compare a 25-year-old and 20-year-old?
It should turn into Wicks and Hers versus Horton, and not Killian versus Horton.
But we look. I would lean Wicks over Horton. Honestly, I would. But here's the thing: is Horton? You have to be ready to bump him up real quick, because if he looks like that early first-round pick out of the gate, you got to bump that guy up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, what does Minnesota do here?
We'll start with Minnesota, and then we'll answer this question from Caden Matthews. Minnesota's in an interesting spot. We'll pull up Minnesota's system. Out for season. Bad year.
Barf. Yeah.
All right. Great. Also great.
Great.
Also great right here. Disappointment. So, and also great. But when I'm looking at this system, there's not a lot of bats I trust. Not a lot of arms I trust either, I'll be honest. But,
go down a little bit more. Can I show you a guy who you can really trust? Keep going. Stop. Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Oh, he rakes. He just hit. He just hit his 23rd today or something like that.
He just got up. He just got up to double and hit a ball 484.
Yeah, 24th today. I mean, this guy rakes. So I mean, they've got power bats. They've got young bats.
Power bat here. I think you can.
I don't hate Lesko here.
I don't hate Lesko. I really don't hate Parada.
I don't hate Parada either.
They need pitching.
They don't have one catcher in their top 30.
No, and their catching options right now. Jeffers just got hurt, right? El Gary.
El Gary is the future.
I don't think El Gary is the future.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Parada. I do like it.
They still have Yohan Duran listed as their top pitching prospect.
He's got like 40 innings out of the bullpen this year.
Yeah, and he's gross. He's their closer. He's not a starting pitcher. They need either a starting pitcher. So I wouldn't hate Lesko here whatsoever. I wouldn't hate Brock Porter here, but I think Parada would be the move. And Niles agrees with me. Yeah. Oh, the bean.
I like it. I mean, well, you can't be upset with Brooks Lee. You know what's crazy too is I feel like the Twins probably weren't even expecting Brooks Lee to be there.
Yeah, they're probably. It's tough. Why does Brooks Lee have Barry Bonds and Willie Mays jerseys hanging in his living room?
He's a West Coast boy. Cal Poly. Probably big Giants fans.
They're flashing Mitch Haniger as a notable alumni. Brooks Lee is screwed.
Haniger's nasty.
Haniger's fine.
This is a very, very, very good get.
This is a good get. And
they need it. They need look, I love Royce Lewis, but I think we're at the point where expecting Royce Lewis to be healthy is ambitious.
Yes. We'll see what Correa does.
That too.
Minnesota's not Correa's home. I mean, he could be there for
swing, man. Look at the swing.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So where does he kind of stack up here? Again, it's tough because these aren't really updated, but I would say, I mean, he's instantly a top 5 prospect in this system.
He's the top prospect in this system.
You're putting him ahead of, I guess. Yeah. Royce, you're putting him ahead of Royce Lewis?
I think so.
Yeah, he probably.
And what he does is way more exciting than Steven
Wallner. He is. That's actually fair point. He is the top prospect in the system. It's funny how like the way it shakes out with some of these teams. It's like you just drafted your top prospect in your system at 12.
It's all situated. And then Horton, like he might not be a top 8 prospect for the Cubs.
But it doesn't necessarily make it a bad pick.
No, not at all.
Because he could be a top prospect in a year or two. We're talking about now. But ultimately could move to 3rd or 2nd. But I think just the profile, you're drafting the bat, you're drafting a good athlete, you're drafting a decent defender wherever he lands. Collier, though, still on the board.
Yeah, that's really.
Is this a signability thing maybe now at this point?
Do you think he's hell-bent on going to Louisville?
I don't think he's hell-bent, but, he's got all the leverage in the world. He's 7 freaking teen.
All right, Kansas City needs to go with pitching. They have to go with Lesko.
And the answer is yes on Brooks Lee.
Yeah, Brooks Lee can stick it short.
Okay. Here's my thing. The Royals keep drafting stuff over pitchability guys.
Yeah, so who do you go with?
And they can't develop them for shit.
So
they
can't go with a bat?
I agree.
Do you find pitchers and go with a bat?
No, you got to find a more polished guy. It's not going to happen. I go Lesko here. You got to just take your chance and hope he develops nicely.
We were getting so many good comments, and now we're getting spam. Do you see that? That's awesome.
Yes, we are getting some spam in here.
That's great.
Please stop.
Heart emoji, heart emoji. Oh, she was blocked, or he
I
was
blocked
blocked.
her. I blocked
It was blocked. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go pitcher here. Like no brainer pitcher. No brainer. Oh, you hear that? Brooks Lee and Jacob Berry's bat are very similar.
I really respect Berkey's opinion. I think Chris Burke is very smart.
Yeah, well, that's the worst news I could hear. They're similar, except one plays freaking shortstop and the other's a DH.
Yeah, but you guys have Khalil Watson and Miguel Rojas. Don't forget about Miguel Rojas.
No, can't.
Dude, there are so many iPads on this table right now, and then you got KP Omaha going with the Dell computer.
He's ripping the Dell.
It's so funny. You can tell that guy just works in insurance.
All right, so we're assuming Lesko here, but
we can't, dude. I mean, if I was Dayton Moore, I would be drafting bats and I would be trading and signing for pitchers.
Here we go. See,
that's a good pick.
I like Gavin Cross. They didn't get a pitcher here, but here's the thing: is with the Royals is they can just go ahead and with every trade they make at this deadline, target pitchers. Just target pitching prospects. Take the best player available. Figure out the pitching side of things later. And let's be honest, they need outfield help. Yes, they went and traded for Drew Waters. That doesn't really matter to me.
No.
But here's the interesting thing about the Gavin Cross pick is they essentially drafted Drew Waters with their 35th selection by trading it. Now they go outfield again. They need arms. I guess they're going to do that through the draft or through the trade market. I
think they should.
They went with Mazzucato last year, and he's looked good. Ben Kudrna has looked good.
Lacey.
So I think they feel good about where they're at as of late with the new wave of youngsters.
Yeah.
And I think this is an example of them just taking the best player available in their eyes.
I think so. So where does Cross slide into this Royals top 10? I think ahead of Nick Lofton for sure.
I think he slots right in at 3.
I think he should. And Vinny and Prado are going to graduate soon.
He could be their top prospect.
He should be their top prospect. I mean, again, Lacey is not good. Not good.
No, he's going to be their top prospect when these two graduate. 100%. Yeah. Again, another team getting at the spot that they're at. You got to draft the best player available, and their outfield situation's a little bit murking. So,
so like, I mean, who looks like they're going to be around? Obviously, Benintendi's going to get moved. Michael A. Taylor is not going to be around. It's tough, man. I mean, like, who's out there?
I mean, they're going to trade Benintendi for pitching, I assume.
Yeah, I hope so. Benintendi to Milwaukee for Ethan Small, straight up. Book it. I want it so bad.
They don't have emerging ace Stanley Duffy anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. That's tough. They have Bulldog Brad Keller, who Brad Keller is almost, I think he's going to turn into Pat Corbin at some point where he just is thrown out there every 5th day to wear it.
Just to wear it. Just
hey, going to go 7.
Get slapped around for an hour and a half.
Doesn't matter. It could be 7 shutout. It could be 7.
They got Dinger in the stands, by the way. Dinger's out there running around.
They've got Dinger out there?
Yeah.
Dude, I wish you were in LA. You could link with Dinger.
Yeah. Look at it. You see Dinger?
I see Dinger.
I hope no one's screaming his name too loud.
Dude, Colorado.
So a good question here, honestly, from Brandon Dillman. How long till we know if a player is signing under slot? The team must know already. 99% of the time, yes. There's always scenarios where when you draft a guy, you're negotiating exactly, the dollars and cents. But they know that if they agree before, hey, they'll usually call and ask and say, hey, if we take you at 8, even though you're not expected to go up until 15, and we offer you, whatever under slot, will you take it? And they say yes. Usually both parties are on the same page at that point. So generally they know. Let's see what the Rockies do. This got to be a pitcher. Got to be Lesko. Okay, they went Hughes. So they go college arm.
I love that.
I get it. And here was my one thing with the Lesko pick is they just drafted Jaden Hill, who is coming back from Tommy John surgery as well. You know, in my eyes, is almost the equivalent of a high school pitcher, given he only threw like 30 innings in college. They want to go safer. Hughes is a good, polished pitcher, probably the most advanced arm left on this board at this point. And we'll go through kind of some of his stuff here. Excuse me. 6'4", 94 to 97 with a wipeout slider and a good feel for a changeup. I mean, this is probably, like I said, the most advanced prospect probably pitching wise left on the board.
I mean, Jerpy.
And the Arsenal plays at altitude. That's the thing too.
It does.
They're looking for, and that's something that I think this new regime is doing a little bit better job of, is identifying players that work well in course. There we go.
They just did it with Chad Kuhl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chad Kuhl's a slider guy.
Brendan, perfect, dude. Brendan, yeah, that's spot on, Brendan.
Brendan is spot on there. The sinker slider is going to play there. I mean, if you're Hughes, are you pissed right now, though?
No,
not really.
Not
though,
at all.
You got drafted way higher than anybody would have taken you.
Yeah, and you're going to a team that honestly I think has a good direction right now, which is
crazy to say, but they do. They really do. We were talking to Jimmy Herron on the call up, and he was like, that Double-A team in Hartford, it is so talented. Like, we have big leaguers on that team. Like, they're in a good spot.
They're figuring out the profile that survives on the mound in Coors, and you saw it with Chad Kuhl so far this year. You know who's had a great couple of starts for them is Jose Urena.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
But again, he's hard sinker at the bottom of the zone,
and he has an okay slider. Like, it probably works fine there. So, like,
and that's what Hughes is. Gabriel Hughes, just running through his numbers at Gonzaga across 15 starts, went 98 innings in 15 starts, 3.2 ERA, 138 punch outs in 98 innings compared to 37 walks. That's 12.5 Ks per 9, 3.5 walks per 9. That's going to survive, man. And that's a good conference. That's a sneaky thing about Gonzaga. You think, oh, obscurity. You think basketball. It's Gonzaga and everybody else. Now, St. Mary's puts out a good team. Santa Clara puts out a good team. There are other teams along the West Coast Conference that put out good teams.
Do they play like those? Do they play those same teams also? The all the Cal whatevers.
I'll pull up Gonzaga's. I'm going to pull up Hughes's game log. I'll tell you who he threw against this year. Gabriel Hughes threw against Fullerton, Oklahoma State, Long Beach State, Pacific, BYU, Pepperdine, San Francisco, St. Mary's, Marymount, Santa Clara, San Diego. He threw against really solid competition here, and he put together those types of numbers. So don't look at him as, oh, mid-major guy wasn't seeing SEC caliber opponents. This is a guy who has experienced tough college competition. He's obviously going to see the toughest competition of his life. But I mean, we'll see.
I mean, Fullerton and all those are good schools, man. Like, those are
they're really good schools. Spokane is the high A affiliate, I want to say. I think it's Spokane. Listen, Gonzaga in Spokane, so he gets to stay home for a little bit. And then he goes to Hartford, but then he will get really tested at AAA in Albuquerque.
And this is a big dude, 6'4", 220. I mean, you can even just see here. I mean, just like, look at the size of this guy.
Yeah.
He's got tree trunks. Guys, this is a good pick. And I assume it's under slot too. So now the Rockies are probably going to have some money on the back end to spend with some of their other selections. Wouldn't it be nice if they had another comp pick? Oh, listen to that roar. Listen to that roar, dude. MLB's draft is in a good spot, man.
Yeah.
Look at this event. Look at this thing, man. I mean,
this is really good
baseball
spot.
has never – MLB's draft has never been like this. But anyway, the Mets were tied to Susac. The Mets were tied to Susac. I don't think they thought that Parada would be on the board for them. And now I can guarantee that the Mets are over the moon right now with this selection here. I mean, they wanted Susac, and instead they get the better version in Parada. the best catcher.
The way better version. The way better version. And we'll see what Francisco Alvarez does. I mean, Alvarez, he might come up as a DH, but Alvarez is the catcher.
Yes.
Parada can DH and get Alvarez off of his knees. If Alvarez in 2 years, because obviously the muscle hamster is going to be up any minute now, and Parada could get there in 2 years. I think in 2024, we could be looking at Alvarez catching 4 days a week and Parada catching 3, with the other DHing the other days.
Yep. Which is awesome. And here's the thing with Parada. Again, it's an insurance policy catching wise, but also you're drafting the bat. Jack, the stats here on Parada are comical.
I'm pulling them up.
No, I got them. This shit. 361, 453, 709 slash line, 26 homers, 30 walks, 32 Ks. I mean, this is one of the best hitters in the country. The bat is what you are getting here. The bat's what you're getting.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm interested to see how the glove continues to kind of develop here. You know, that's the big question. He's got a hose for an arm, though, and you figure he can get there. But the Mets have to be thrilled. This is probably one of the steals of the draft, I think.
I think so. I think this was the faller, right?
Him and we'll see, you know, what the deal is with Collier. I'm assuming he might not be signable at this point.
Collier?
I don't know if he's signable at this point.
See what happens, man.
What do you think of this? Another good question from Brandon Dillman. What do you think of the pros and cons of allowing teams to trade first-round picks? Do you think MLB will ever allow teams to do so? I love it. I think it adds a fun element to things. It allows teams to be a bit more creative. It encourages more trades. It encourages a lot more. Even that trade we just saw for 3 prospects that aren't that exciting. It was fun for me. I thought it was cool. I would love for them to be able to trade more than compensation picks personally. I think it would be great. What's a con? Can you come up with a realistic con?
A realistic con would be, I don't know, if a team intentionally sabotaged themselves. I don't understand why you would do it, but you know, sometimes we see it where like a team will just sell off all their first round picks in hopes of, you know, I don't know if there's any like bonus pool manipulation that they could go with here. Obviously the Braves did it to up their bonus pool by getting Drew Waters off. So it's interesting in that regard, but
also, are you trading like 20th rounders? You know, like how does that work?
Like, I don't think so. I don't see a con, to be totally honest, because it just creates a little bit more of a conversation. And again, what you were going to when Parada got picked in the roar of that crowd, the MLB draft is never going to compete with the NFL and NBA draft. The MLB draft is competing with the NHL draft, and they're blowing it out of the water.
They are, man.
All they can do is look to close the gap between the MLB draft and the NFL draft. I think the
just
NBA
make it something, dude. Make it something. It was nothing.
Like, and it feels like something right now. And another wrinkle that you can add is trading first round picks. And I think that there is really no con here.
Could you imagine, you know, the Tigers are on the clock and you then hear that the Mets traded for a 3rd first round pick in here or something like that.
That would be awesome. It'd be awesome.
Oh, the Mets traded, you know, Mark Vientos for a 3rd first round pick and like something like that would be so cool. I think it adds so much fun to it. That's why the NBA is what it is in a lot of ways, is the drama. And I think that
it's a reality show. That's why the NBA is beautiful.
And I think baseball can lean into that a little bit with the trading of picks. I'm into it. Oh, here we go. Let's continue this year with, where does he rank in the Mets system? Parada. Yeah. You know, well, first of all, obviously ahead.
He's right behind Beatty.
Really? You're putting him 3rd?
Yeah, ahead of Vientos.
Yeah, I'm putting ahead of Vientos. Alex Ramirez, I like a lot. I think if you had an MLB draft right now, Alex Ramirez is probably the number 1 pick.
Yeah, but Parado was like a dark horse, the number 1 pick.
Yeah, he went 12th or 11th.
Yeah, but he could have gone 4th. Kumar Rocker was going to go 3rd round.
Alex Ramirez is really good. But regardless, oh no, he stinks in high A right now. In 11 games.
Washed.
He's washed. No, I think it's somewhere in that. He's a top 5 guy, probably in the 3 or 4 range. That's pretty good. Because I did not think that whoever they got at 11 was gonna kind of slide right in there. Here's the interesting thing though, Jack, is high school arms are slipping right now. I mean, we're looking at what we're on pick 12. What should the Tigers do here? Do they take a high school arm or not?
The Tigers? No, I don't think so. It's getting tough, man. I think Susak makes a lot of sense here, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I think he makes a lot of sense.
I like, a dark horse here, Chase Young.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go to their system. I don't think they need pitching. Ty Madden is looking like a legitimate top 100 guy. Jackson Jobe, they just took.
Jobe's a stud, yeah.
Surprising pick last year, with how early he went, but very understandably, a guy that's talented in that regard.
You see how Garrett Hill debuted? Bo Bretsky looks like somebody that can be legit.
Who do you think the Reds will target? What does the $5 thing mean?
I don't know. Did Clay did he kind of Venmo? Is that what that means?
Well, I don't want to thank him if he didn't, though.
Yeah, I mean, Clay, up it to 10, dude. Come on.
We know you were. You just sent $5. I appreciate you, Clay.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Thank you. If that's Clay, what that is.
Clay worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so I think that he could Venmo a little bit more than $5. He is an FBI operative.
He also is the highest paid contributor to Just Baseball.
Yeah.
Give
him $3,000 an article.
Yeah, it's depleting us, but it's worth it.
It's killing
it. Gets into the Reds Facebook groups and just explodes.
Yeah.
The Reds, it's kind of crazy how they low key pick late. Who did we have the Reds taking?
It's deep.
Neto. I don't think Neto's going to be there now.
We misspelled Cincinnati? That's on me.
Did you misspell Cincy?
No. You or Miller misspelled Cincy, but I didn't catch it in the editing process.
It was Miller. But come on, you got to edit. What's a super chat?
I don't know.
Thanks for the super chat.
Listen, we love working blindly like everybody else. It's fun.
No, we want to Woj it, Bennett, and we want to just.
That's no fun.
Why does Woj do that, bro? Like we know you know the picks. Don't fucking ruin it. Just let it go. Just let it go.
I'm gonna plug my charger in real quick. BRB.
So Jack leaves me for the second time on this stream. I'll take this chance to answer some more questions. How does this affect the Tigers? The Tigers didn't make their pick yet, so we're waiting here.
I'm back. I just had to plug in.
Yeah.
Where does Hughes rank for the Rockies? That's a great question.
Hughes for the Rockies.
That's an awesome name, Crispy.
Right in front of Veen, I think. You see what this freak did in the futures game?
So good.
Tovar's unbelievable. Romo's unbelievable.
Amador
I would take Amador over. I think right after Amador, I'd put him at 5. And it's more. That's more of a testament to Amador than anything about Hughes.
Amador is a top 100 guy,
but he's instantly their top pitching prospect. And and right on the fringe of probably being a top 100 guy, probably just on the outside, I would say. There's too many guys throwing the ball well right now, and in the minor leagues already. I think for Hughes to get in. Let's see. What do we think here? Yeah, I like it. 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 There we go. There it is. I'm a fan of the pick.
Yeah.
Jace Young is one of the best college bats, period. I don't know why he lost. I wouldn't say he lost like any draft stock or anything like that. It's more so just all the other guys were just getting talked about more. Young had some prospect fatigue because he has the name recognition of his brother, and he was putting up big numbers through the whole college season. It was like, and going back even to last year, it was like, I can't wait for Jung to be available. Like, this guy was tearing it up kind of for a while. It felt like a little bit of that prospect fatigue to a degree.
Young this year.
This guy's going to hit.
Yes. Young this year in 61 games hit 335 with a 1093 OPS, 14 homers, 59 walks in 61 games. He wasn't being pitched to. 59 walks and 42 strikeouts. So this is a guy that was still pitched around, and in 61 games had 18 doubles and 14 pumps while hitting 335 with a 480 OBP in the Big 12. Young can hit. He can just flat out hit. He's a very, very talented player. He's a lefty bat. He factors in really well, and everything that you signed up for with Javi Baez, you're getting the exact opposite in a good way with Chase Young. It's awesome.
He's got I do see like plus power potential. I do agree with you're talking about a potential hit tool with above average to plus power.
I'm telling you, man, you take the ceiling of what Javi Baez can do in the long run, and you take the floor of what Jace Young can do, and you create this superstar middle infield.
Yeah. And the thing with Young too is like, the floor is there, but the ceiling is there. Like, this is a plus hit tool, plus power guy or at least 55 grade power guy. I think you're going to be really happy with how quickly he's going to climb through the minors too. And he's a fine defender at second base.
That's the other thing. So
there's another point for Clay. Also, I'm getting my charger now too. Keep talking.
Yeah, no, I like that question from Clay. Colt, Keith, and Young in the same infield, sign me up. You look at the infield farm for Detroit, and yes, you have Candelario there right now. Yeah, you have Baez there right now. But, I mean, obviously Baez is signed long-term. We have no idea what they're going to do with Candelario. Colt Keith at third, Baez at short, Young at second would be great. And you look at the infield prospects right now for the Tigers, they're either teenagers or underperforming. Christian Santana is 18 years old. Ryan Kreidler, slightly underperforming at the moment. Kreidler's been really interesting. He's only played 29 games this year, but he was hitting 221. Pacheco is 19 years old.
I just saw Pacheco and also talked to my buddy Mike Rothenberg about him when we just went out to watch my buddy Mike play at in Jupiter. He plays for the Lakeland Flying Tigers, and he said Pacheco is a dude. So they've got a lot of bats.
He's a dude, but he's 19.
Yeah, what?
A lot of bats.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this infield pans out. But I think if you're looking at Torkelson, the current Toledo Mudhead, Torkelson at first, you're looking at Young at second, Baez at short, and Colt Keith at third, with Pacheco not far off when it all happens, and Santana, in the higher levels in the minors. That would be fun.
Let's go.
Another pitcher.
Neto. I like it. I assume I'm actually very interested to see if this is slot value or not.
I think it will be.
They might save a little here. But Neto's a South Florida guy. His numbers at Campbell are comical.
They're stupid.
Comical.
Zach Neto this year at Campbell.
403, 500, 751. Is that what it is?
At 1283 OPS.
What were the Cape numbers?
The Cape numbers in Brewster last year? In 16 games, very small sample. 4 doubles, 3 homers, 10 driven in. /304, 439, 587.
Pretty freaking good.
Obviously really good. Only 16 games. But again, 53 games at Campbell, 407, 514. He slugged 769.
But again, you can cite the competition, but you slug 769, you slug 769. This isn't playing it, on the moon in New Mexico or wherever. And also, it's only 16 games on the Cape, but it's 16 games against high-level competition where he just continued to do what he has always done. I think the hit tool is plus. The power is at least above average. And I think there's a good chance he could stick it short. It's a really good pick here, I think. And you got to be pretty happy with this outcome. If you're the Angels, they need infield help long term. They really do. We can look at we know that they've only taken pitchers over the last 2 years, basically.
Neto's their top prospect.
No, he's their number one prospect immediately.
He's better than Bachman. He's their top prospect.
Yeah. And it's honestly like him and Bachman, I think, are just like on another level too.
Kai Busch is close. You think?
But Busch, yeah, I think Busch is close. I think Neto might be almost in his own bucket. Like Neto might be by himself.
I think so. I'm with you.
So there you go. I mean, they get their top prospect. I mean, you got to be pretty happy if you get your top prospect at that point.
That's the thing. If you don't need a top prospect in the system, draft for need. But if you need a top prospect in the system and he's still on the board, you feel like he's on the board, go get the top prospect in the system.
Yeah. No brainer. And I think he's high floor. I really do. I know that sounds backwards with a Campbell guy. A mid-major guy. I think he's high floor. I really do.
It does sound backwards.
But the bat, I mean, the bat, I believe in it. I like the swing. I like everything I've seen. I think it's a high floor bat. Look at, they're showing his high school field or where he grew up playing and stuff in Miami.
Brendan had another good point. Green, Young, and Torque. That's hilarious. That's got the chance to be electric.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And Baez. It's lit. It's lit in Detroit. Rockies are a joke. Why?
No, they're not a joke anymore.
We like it. We're supporters of the Rockies.
We're Rockies fans.
So are we assuming Collier's?
I assume Collier is playing for the Louisville Cardinals next year.
Yep. I think so.
Do you think Neto can time up that leg kick?
I think so. Oh my God, that is fat though. That's a lot.
Because he gets it down early enough.
I think I think we're gonna have to see that against higher level, against professional pitching.
Hard, dude. Like I'm thinking a high spin fastball. Neto.
Justin Turner can do it. I mean, there's guys out there that can do it. He's a good athlete. It'll be tough though. I mean, like if he struggles, that's gonna be the first thing that they point towards is settle down that leg kick.
We just saw it with Adele, dude. Adele had that massive leg kick and he just aborted mission on it.
Yeah, I think Neto's got some better body control, better barrel control. So I'm interested. I like the bat. I really do. I think he would have struggled to time things up even at the collegiate level with all that movement. But
dude, this plays. I like the jersey over the suit.
To move. I like
that. Looks really good. Like the hat in the NBA is interesting, but I think
the weirdest about it too is that they do the hat and it's like then the pick gets traded and they're rocking the hat of a team that they're never going to play for.
Yeah, but I kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy that. Like seeing Kawhi Leonard in a Pacers hat is awesome. Kobe in the Hornets hat.
So where do we think, big storyline, where do we think Chase DeLauder is going to go, man?
That's a good question.
This is a dude that was 1-1 consideration coming into the year, faltered a little bit in the beginning, then broke his foot or his ankle.
He got hurt.
It's going to be interesting.
Broke his foot.
Yep. Sliding into second. Also, this guy's going to be a steal right here, potentially.
Beavers?
Beavers. Can swing it. DeLauder does. I do agree with this one. Brandon's just spitting facts.
Yeah, Brendan might be winning most valuable commenter right now.
Yeah. I mean, DeLauder, I think, power wise, it's kind of comparable. And DeLauder, I think, will have a good approach. He's fast. He's a big dude, but can still play center field. I think that's a very simple.
Yeah. Do you think he has staying power in center?
I do. I was actually pretty shocked at how well he moves when I was watching that FSU series.
He's got the arm to move to right if need be, but I would prefer if that arm was in center. And if he can move in center, great.
I think he can move. I was actually really, really impressed by that. I mean, we'll see how he comes back from the foot. And here we go. I'm really interested on the Mets. I think the Mets are the biggest storyline, I think, in the draft. Wow.
Why not?
Upside. I don't have a ton on Jet Williams, but what I do know is he's 18 years old. He's a shortstop out of high school with big time upside. They have the ability here to swing for the fences with one of their two middle of the first round picks, and they went safe with Parada, high floor bat. Now go for the potential home run here with a high school shortstop where you never know how things are going to go.
Yeah, I've got no clue how things are going to go, and I haven't watched much of Jet Williams at all.
Is that video of him fielding fungos helping you get a good idea?
Yeah, it's good. Also, that headshot, Jet with 2 T's. The headshot's doing him dirty. He was fitted out of his mind at his draft party. I mean, tie-dye shirt with the chain. He looked great. Black jeans too.
Ooh.
I kind of dig that swing, man.
Yeah.
I like the transfer of weight.
He's easy.
Oh, I like that.
It's bad. Yeah, I like the swing. He also look at the forearms.
Oh, I love my high school forearms.
He's got big league forearms.
That works. Big league forearms already. He helps it with a wrist tape. I kind of dig this, man.
He gave him 60 speed too. I'm in. I like it. That swing was as simple as it gets and powerful.
If he can hit for some power.
They gave him a 45. I'm interested to see what it actually looks like when we get a better look professionally. Look, I'm not going to draw a conclusion from a couple videos, but it looked like better than 45 future power there. I think you got to give him a little bit more upside than that.
We'll see. He's only 5'8". Peter's pissed about Lesko.
I think he took like an under on.
Oh, did that prop? Peter's already on his island that he just bought.
Yeah, he doesn't matter. He doesn't need to worry about that. We at Jackson Holliday. Jet Williams. Yeah, we like it. Do we like Jet Williams?
Oh, how about this from Heyman? Drew Jones will be receiving over $8 million from the Diamondbacks.
What was the slot value?
$8-1. He's going to get slot at the very least. I bet he shoots over slot. You think he gets more money than Holliday?
Yeah, Holliday's might. I think the Orioles might have liked them equally, and Holliday might be a little bit less. Wasn't his number 7? Wasn't that the reports?
I think so. And Holliday, that approximate pick value, and do with that what you will, was 884 this year.
I wonder. I'd rather have Holliday at $1 million less potentially, if that's what it is. But it's probably not going to be that. It's going to be like $500,000 or less. But
no, it might be, dude. It might be $1 million less.
I'm interested. I think Holliday's still going to get close to it, but what do you think if they were going for the same amount of money?
Did you see this? Jet Williams has the black diamond necklace because of Lance McCullers.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
That's this guy. Would you think the Orioles would have taken Jones if the money was the same? I think so.
If the money was the same, they would have taken Drew Jones.
I assume so as well. So that's why I think there's going to be a little bit of savings there. You want to rip like 2 more picks?
Yeah, you want to go through 20?
Yeah, we'll go through 20. We'll do this through 20. That'll take us right at about like 9:00. I love the farm system ranking based on $1 million value or something like that. It's so weird. all the little things they're flashing at the bottom are pretty funny.
Yeah. I love the Robert Gasser shout out on ESPN.
He's awesome. Fire.
Gasser's so sick, dude. Watching Gasser and Doug Nikhazy duel in Fort Wayne last weekend was awesome. Do you think a playoff caliber team that needs bullpen help will draft Ben Joyce, similar to what the White Sox did with Kopech in 2018? I think you're not thinking of Kopech in 2018. You're thinking of Crochet in 2020.
Yeah, they didn't fast. Yeah, Kopech. Yeah, but Crochet in 20. No, it's a good question. I would say.
I'd say yes, but it doesn't happen tonight. I don't think.
No, it's. What do you think? Second round? Is it second round?
Well, aren't they doing second round tonight?
So I think he could go second round. Also, did we corroborate this from Logan? This is interesting. Rocker getting $2 million underslot. If you're getting Rocker for $2 million underslot, I kind of like that move, dude, because not only are you getting still potentially like there's a legitimate chance that Kumar Rocker is the best pitcher in this draft, and it's a pretty good chance that it could happen. It's really health dependent. If you were getting him for $2 million less, and now are essentially trading into the first round with your next selection, because if you can go $2 million overslot with your next selection, Passon tweeted it. Logan said so. If you can overslot by $2 million or overslot your next 2 picks by $1 million each, you're able to essentially have almost 3 first-round picks. You're drafting Kumar Rocker and then giving yourself almost 2 more first-round picks. Genius.
Jack Leiter tweeted, I just searched Kumar Rocker on Twitter. Jordan Wolf with minor league baseball. He tweeted the video of the 2 like toddlers running towards each other and hugging on the street. And he said Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter reuniting in the Rangers rotation. And Leiter had like a crying, laughing emoji and said, "See you soon, Kumar."
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
They seem to always have a good relationship, which is cool to see those guys, like keep going together here.
Yeah.
What do you think though of saving $2 million on the Rocker pick?
I love it.
Because, I mean, not only are you getting the highest upside potentially arm still, I think, it's Kumar freaking Rocker still. You're saving a couple $1 million to be able to overslot. The Rangers, I think, are going to go big with their next pick. I think they're going to overslot pretty heavily on a high school guy. They could throw $2 million at Collier. They could offer Collier $5 million. 4 or $5 million.
I don't think they do that.
I don't think so either. But I'm just that's something that's a possibility.
What if the Rangers
that they just saved? There.
What if the Rangers pull the Angels no hitter and just draft 20 arms?
20 arms.
I'd be so in on that.
I wouldn't hate it. I'm assuming with saving $2 million, they're gonna probably just go best player available. But it's a good question.
Elijah Green ahead of House and Cade.
Not ahead of House.
Not ahead of Cade right now.
Cade's hurt, but no. Yeah, I'd say he's right behind them. But does that help their system so much?
Oh, my God.
What do we think Cleveland does? I think we could see Barriera to Cleveland at 16.
San Diego's about to go right now. San Diego.
What are they going to do?
Well, it sounds like they're going to go get Juan Soto for whoever this guy is and 10 others.
Yeah, this guy's get ready to pack your bags, kid.
Yeah, you're going to DC.
I mean, they've crushed it on their prep guys over the last couple years.
They've killed it on prep guys.
Lesko. Bang! It was they were doing Lesko. Let's go.
Yeah. That's a really good pick.
That is a great pick. Great pick. I mean, we're talking about, again, like aside from Kumar, is making the case for him. Realistically, Lesko is the best pitching prospect in this draft. You get him at 15. I don't know what his timeline is health-wise, but this guy could be a top 100 arm, immediately if he shows that he's healthy and can really throw. that's a trade chip at the very least. But also, there's a system that could use a good right-handed pitching prospect. I think they're great at the big league level right now, but they could use a layer.
And they've nailed it. They've nailed. I'm going to give you every pitcher they've taken since 2010. Cool. Yep. Every pitcher they've taken since 2010. San Diego. Ryan Weathers in 2018 out of high school. Weathers, say what you want about him, he's a hit. 2018 high school guy, he's already been up and shown some success. Mackenzie Gore, 2017. 2016, Eric Lauer. 2016, Cal Quantrill. 2012, Walker Weichel. That didn't turn out. Zach Eflin, 2012. Max Fried, 2012. Michael Kelly and Joe Ross in 2011. I mean, they hit all the time on their arms.
And I mean, I love the Gasser pick last year. I like what they've been doing. I really do. Even like Jackson Wolf, like some of the
Wolf is good.
Later picks have been good.
Ryan Bergert, yeah.
I like it. I think Lesko instantly becomes their best pitching prospect at this point.
Yeah, Lesko slots in right after Merrill, I think.
Yep.
Merrill's been hurt.
Yeah, he was mashing through 13 games. He's either right after or right before Merrill, I would say.
I think it's right after Merrill.
For you?
Yeah.
I don't love Merrill as much as
others.
I think Pipeline does.
Yeah.
His upside's limited. But again, I mean, you're talking about a top 5 prospect here, number 1 pitching prospect for them now. No brainer.
Yeah, no brainer.
This guy needs to stop being ranked also in their top prospect list.
Yeah, what is he, 20? Is he 30? Is he 31?
25. Although lights out in the big leagues right now. Kick rocks arm.
Let's see what Cleveland does here.
Barriera. I could see Barriera here.
Dude. If they went with Jerpy here, that would make all the sense in the world.
What are you thinking if it's not Barriera? That's who we had in our mock. This is a possibility. DeLauder.
Could be. You know who else I really like here is Beavers or Beck.
Beavers has some late helium. Beck would be more of a slide under slot, I would imagine. We know what they don't need, dude. It's a freaking middle infielder, or
they don't need a middle infielder or a center fielder.
I would go to Lauder. I would like to Lauder here.
I think I go Beck. I think I go massive power potential. Again, Cleveland, best system in baseball, and I don't think it's close. I think the Dodgers.
I think this is that is the best system in baseball. I agree. Or do you play to your strength and do you just take a Barriera?
Here he comes.
Boom. I like it. I'm sorry, we're not spoiling picks. We're just guessing well right now. I like it, man. You look at what they've got right now, system-wise. George Valera is awesome. Nolan Jones is looking really good, but
Jones is really good, man.
I don't know if he's an outfielder though, really. Outside of that, I mean, what's the future of their outfield?
Future of their outfield, Valera, maybe Nolan Jones, maybe Quan. Like, you've just got guys that might stick around. Quan, Will Brennan, Palacios. Yeah. Like, they're all guys that might stick around. But if you can get a legitimate star, you can get an insane return for a Will Brennan and a Quan.
Correct. This is an important layer, I think, that the system needed. Because outside of Valera, I don't think there's really an outfielder that you can dream on being an all-star in that system, or really on that team.
No, I mean, you can dream of guys like, if the stars align, winning a batting title, but having an identical batting average to their slugging.
That's like a Benintendi type.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Look
in
at this.
This era
So
of baseball.
this is the series that made me nervous.
Yeah, they're showing, but it's Parker Messick. Like Messick is so good.
The lower half. It's the lower half where he drifts a little bit.
You can see it clearly.
Yeah, he drifts.
The swing is like interesting.
When you drift like that, bat drags really hard to catch up to elevated heat, and that's all he's going to see.
Do you think that swing? Do you think that swing is repeatable in the slightest?
I think he has the ability to do so. Like, it reminds me a little bit of like Tucker with the sweep through the zone. What I'm worried about is I don't think that the body movement is repeatable. Like, he needs to find a way to really stay on that backside, and I think he will. He's athletic as hell. He's strong.
He's big. He's
quick.
6'4", 240. He's big.
He's big and he's athletic as shit. I think he'll find a way. The fact that he's even able to get swings off like that with the way his lower half is a testament to his athleticism. But yeah, he needs to get a little bit more in that lower half. And that's such a common thing, dude. Brennan Davis was really bad with the lower half when he was first coming up. Josh Lowe is another one that looked just like that. I think Lowe's a really good comp here because Lowe had almost the same lower half issues and he was not nearly as strong. So I think that's kind of a comp to grab from. I see some Josh Lowe similarity with the swing, and I think he can iron it out.
Hey, our spammer's back. That's awesome.
And they won't give up.
Oh, she's using it is using the sweating emoji now.
Ooh, I'm sweating right now too. Actually, the air is not pumping here.
Logan O'Hoppe, the top position player prospect.
That's bad.
They need a bat so bad.
I think. Well, we had DeLauder going to them, so now DeLauder's off the board. They need a bat. I think they'd be out of their minds to go with an arm. Who are you ripping here? I think Susac.
Beavers or Cole Young.
I like Susac here. Well, you have O'Hoppe though.
Hold on.
I like it.
Yeah, Crawford had a lot of late helium, right?
Yeah, he's Carl Crawford's son. I mean, this is a late, like a helium guy who threw a couple inches. He's 6'3" now. So speed, bat to ball, just like Dad, but Dad had some power. I think what really put him over the top is now he's 6'3". You have room for projection physically for maybe an average or better power. And now you're looking at a very big impact player here. Instead of a slap hitting, plus speed guy, you can dream on. Oh my God, he looks just like his dad. You can dream on
just like his dad.
Some exciting, impact as well. I think Crawford could be a big time steal with plus speed, the bloodlines, the frame now at 6'3". This is a great pick because they needed an impact offensive prospect, and he is exactly that. And he pairs with Josh Rojas as two really athletic outfield prospects. I like it.
Johan Rojas.
Johan Rojas, excuse me.
Man.
I want to see some more video of the swing.
Yeah, they're about to do the Carl and Justin comp. Give it to me.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to fill out.
Look at him here. He looks smaller here even than where he looks right now in the draft.
He has to fill out. He's going to.
That place. Like, you can see the frame, dude. Like, there's so much room to fill out there. And with his speed, I'm in. I like it a lot. I think that's exactly what they needed.
Okay, so Painter Mick, is Crawford ahead or behind Logan O'Hoppe? Ahead.
Woof. Ahead. I think there's too much to dream on here.
Ahead.
Oh. Look how simple his swing is, dude.
Dude, he flies too.
Simple, twitchy. I'm in. I'm surprised he didn't go higher. 80, they gave him 80 speed.
They gave him an 80.
Why is this guy why 17?
No. Pipeline has him as a 70 runner.
Well, Kylie McDaniel gave him an 80.
Yeah, but a 25 hit, 25 pop with 55, 45 future.
Yeah, it's present. Yeah.
Pipeline has him at 55-40 hit and power.
I think it's ridiculous to cap him at 40 power just because you look at him.
You have no idea like how he's going to.
That's what Brendan Davis looked like when he came up too. Again, like,
yeah, and that's the thing. They just look at his dad, and it's like, oh, if he's like his dad, then he's going to have no pop. Like,
yeah, and like I think he's going to have more pop than his dad. He's bigger than his dad. I don't think his dad was 6'3".
I'll tell you right now. Nice pick by Dave. Carl Crawford, 6'2", 230.
He's going to fill out. He's already 6'3". Yeah, so I also Cam Collier, I'd assume at this point it's just because he's not signing.
I'll hop on the Twitter sphere.
Someone asked, why do you think Cam Collier hasn't been picked yet? So I was just answering that one. What do you think the Reds do? The Reds need to not take a pitcher. They've traded for so many pitchers. I don't think they need to take a pitcher.
Twitter just told me they're going to do something really, really interesting.
Who? The Reds?
Yeah. Reds are going to do something really, really, really interesting right now.
Okay, so and we'll stay off of Twitter now for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Am I going to laugh?
No, I think Clay is going to be really happy.
Really? Collier?
I think Clay's going to be really happy.
They pull off Collier? Did they pull off Collier? I think, I'm looking at the Reds. Collier, Susac. I would have loved Neto for them. That's who I think we mocked to them.
They need a bat. You're good. You're good pitching wise.
Clay saying W.
Clay's going to be really happy. You like Jay Allen?
Love Jay Allen. I think that's a great upside athlete, 3-sport athlete in high school, and he's way more advanced of a hitter, I think, than anybody thought. We're gonna go through 20 picks here, and then we'll wind it down.
You got to remember, this system is adding whoever they get from Luis Castillo.
Dude, it's gonna be a top 3 system in baseball, I think. By the time
if
they trade Mahle too, and Drury,
Guardians, Dodgers, Reds.
It could be, dude.
Because Seattle's having some graduates now.
Hepster wants us to stay till 23. We'll see how these picks go. Hepster, I would love to.
We're already doing 2 hours. We gotta eat dinner now, or Ebster.
Yeah, I gotta eat dinner.
I thought you said Nestor. Ebster.
Ebster. My girlfriend's waiting downstairs.
Congrats on having a girlfriend. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. She's visiting.
Yeah. By the way, happy birthday, Aram. Dude is sitting here for 2 hours just shooting the shit about the draft on his birthday.
Yeah.
Aram's 38 years old today. Everybody wish Aram a happy 38th.
I legit forgot it was my birthday. Yeah. Still. It's the draft day. Yeah, it is my birthday. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
You almost came, I heard.
I did.
I almost appreciate it, dude.
I did almost come.
I appreciate you almost being able to come.
I was I asked for this weekend schedule from the guy that I split the Indians with like 2 months in advance to see if I could book the flight, and he said that he couldn't do this weekend, so I couldn't get down there.
It's all good, man.
Just know that I tried. Just know I was trying to be proactive for Aram's 50th birthday bash.
50th birthday. Wait, so I have the Andy Milonakis disease, if people are wondering. The crazy thing about this is my mom works with my girlfriend to set up this awesome birthday with my friends at the Marlins game, and it's Max Meyer's debut, and they lose 10-0.
Yeah.
And you can't make it up. Like, and then today on my physical birthday, they drafted a DH at 6.
Hey, Bennett gets it. Happy 45th, and then Ebster followed with happy 46th.
I love these
here's
loaded
why.
questions.
Here's why. It's because they've got Green, Lodolo, Williamson, Abbott. Petty won't be there yet. I mean, dude. Oh, Ashcraft. I forgot Ashcraft. Like, you've got so many pitchers here. I really like Bonin and Roa.
Don't forget about Phillips.
Oh, Connor Phillips.
He's good.
Oh, man. Where's Alan Cerda 20 according to Pipeline. What a miss.
20 in their system?
You look young for 65. Why is Austin Hedrick Arm's favorite prospect winning MVP next year?
Because his swing is perfect. Yay! The Marlins drafted a first base. A switch hitting Andrew Vaughn is what I've heard on Jacob Berry.
Dude, woo-hoo! If you get Vaughn, you're happy with 6. I'm happy with Vaughn at 3 for the White Sox.
Yeah, but he's a full-time outfielder.
Yeah, Vaughn was like the best hitter in that draft, and it wasn't close.
It wasn't yet. Ben Joyce for the Mariners, not in the first round.
Not in the first round.
Where does Pipeline have Joyce? 112. He's going to go earlier than the 112th pick. I'll tell you
He'll
that.
be the first reliever off the board.
So how do you already know what the fucking Reds are doing? How do you already know? Like, they haven't picked for like 15 minutes. Right, there we go. Tell me it's Collier. I have a feeling. Wow, it was. What a pick. Wow. They're about to punt every other pick. They're about to punt. What's the price on Cam Collier? Because I'd imagine it's going to take – this is this year's Khalil Watson in terms of just top 5.
Yeah, without the makeup issues. Can we talk without the makeup issues?
He didn't drop because of makeup. But this is this year's Khalil Watson where he falls out of the top 5. His price tag was too high. And then all of a sudden – that's what we get. So
but they could afford to punt on everybody else because, again, their system is like already a top 5 system in baseball, and Collier immediately becomes, man, who's Ellie McLean? He's a higher rated prospect than Jay Allen.
Yeah,
is he higher rated than McLean?
Yeah, because he's so young. He's 17. I would say, yeah.
First
I don't think they're going to punt. I don't think they're going
to
to punt, but this pick right here is going to be cheap as shit. It's going to be a college guy.
Yeah.
This 32nd pick is going to be cheap. Crochet was drafted 11th overall. Why can't Joyce go early first or second? It's a good question.
Because Crochet was a starter.
I don't think the plan was always to make Crochet a reliever.
No, it was get up there as a bullpen guy and turn him into a starter like Brandon Finnegan.
That's never going to happen with Joyce.
No, never with Joyce. Joyce is what the Padres got with Cops last year. Cops won the Golden Spikes and he went 3rd round.
Holden Powell, same thing. I think he went 3rd as well.
Yeah, I think Joyce is at the earliest mid-second.
Dude, Collier's swing reminds me so much of MJ Melendez.
Cincinnati's going to take like fucking Judd Fabian at 32.
Oh my God. I actually would like that.
I would love like that.
I would imagine they go at 32. What do you do to save money there? If they take whoever takes Melton's getting one of the steals of the draft. Can I say that?
And Brock Jones, dude.
I might even like Melton more.
I want Brock Jones. I want Brock Jones going to the White Sox at the end of the first year. Honestly, like, is this crazy of me to say? I see Drew Gilbert might be their top guy on the board right now on ESPN. Like, that blow up in the Super Regional turned me off of Gilbert so fast.
And it's funny because he earns high grades for the makeup. But I don't know. It's like I hear you, and I didn't like it at all, but it's one moment too at the same time. It's really tough. Like that's one of those where you have to sit down with him, and like I feel like he could talk you off of that though. You could have a conversation with him, he could own it, and you could be like, okay,
If he owned it, if he owned it, I would.
I don't
say,
know if he did. I don't know how the team meetings went. I'm sure he probably handled it well. I will say though, I did not like that at all. I did not.
No, it was terrible.
Also, before we get to the Cardinals pick, can we also give some credit to how well the Cardinals have done on their prep picks over the last couple years?
Oh, so good.
Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, but also who else have they taken in the prep realm? Hold on. Let's go to their top prospects. Because I'm expecting them to just keep dominating the prep realm. Josh Baez, I still really like.
Tink Hence.
Tink Hence is disgusting.
Hence is gross.
I mean, they are crushing the prep ranks.
Oh, didn't Oh no, Graceffo was a Villanova guy.
This guy's lit. Juan Bin Cho. Do not sleep on Juan Bin Cho.
Dude, my guy Wenhua Son got released by San Diego. Is Hyunil Choi healthy again?
Is who?
My guy Hyunil Choi
so, yeah.
In the Dodgers system? No.
I think he's still hurt.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Mariners? Hold on. They need to hit this pick.
Susac.
Why?
Because Shea and Murphy isn't enough.
What are they doing?
They're idiots, dude. I hope Susac likes Vegas. Vegas is not far from Tucson.
Have you not seen the Jonah Hill movie with Brad Pitt?
Hold on. Yeah, let me go to Susac.
Susac's good, man. I would like to pick for anybody else. Why do the Oakland A's at this juncture need a catcher?
Susac had a 430 OBP this year. Dude gets on base. He can move.
He's Austin Wells.
6'4", 220 though. He can move somewhere else.
I think that's the expectation potentially.
Shea's the catcher. Soderstrom is the first baseman.
Yeah.
Are you putting Susac in the outfield? He only caught at Arizona. I think you turn this guy into a corner outfielder.
I get they're drafting the bat purely here, right? Like you're looking at who's left, and they like Susac's bat more than. Here's my thing: is do you like Susac's bat more than you like Brock Jones or Drew Gilbert's? Or
I think so because of like room to fill on the frame. Like look at Susac. He's a very slender catcher.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That frame is way better than Brock Jones.
So I think with this is what what Oakland's doing here is the same thing as the Soderstrom pick. If he can stick behind the dish, that's great. If he can't, you're really drafting the bat. And Soderstrom, the pick was a great one for them ultimately.
Yeah. Hey, let's give Bennett a Seattle thought because we're hopping off after Atlanta here.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Dusty right behind Burke. You see that?
No,
our guy Dusty Baker right behind Burke. If they take that single shot again.
That's funny. What was the Mariners pick?
21.
Oh, they haven't picked yet.
21.
So we'll stay for Seattle.
Yeah, we'll stay. There you go.
What did the Braves do here?
Anybody?
Yeah, they're kind of just chilling. They have a lot of arms though.
They got a ton of high level minor league arms.
They could use some infield help, I think.
They could use some infield help, and honestly, they could just take.
You know who I would like here? Peyton Graham.
Oh, that would be the AA pick.
I would like Peyton Graham.
That would be the AA pick. I couldn't be more in love with what Alex Anthopoulos does.
Oh yeah, I think he's the best GM in sports or in baseball. I mean,
Yeah, in baseball, I think. Yeah, there might be some other wizards in the NBA, but I think
Pat Riley,
Anthopoulos
best exec.
Anthopoulos is the best GM in baseball. I'm with you.
I think so.
I think Masai in Toronto is really good on the basketball
If
front too.
recent history tells us anything, it's that they go out and just get another power arm, power college arm. Like the most the most Braves pick ever would have been would be Tidwell. Or Pallett or Paulette. I could see them doing either of those. They don't give a shit about reaching. Like, they never care about that.
No, they don't care.
Barriera, too. We're kind of getting to what I was told was the floor for Barriera. I was told the floor for Barriera was 24, which shit changes, obviously.
Could we see him go with Cole Young?
That would shock me, but could see it.
They must like Grissom.
They love Grissom.
I don't think they like Shoemake that much.
No way.
But they want to sign Dansby long term. That's the thing. Like, you look around. There's no hole there. Olsen at first. Albies at second. Dansby at short. Riley at third. Acuna in right. Harris in center. You can fill left or catcher.
Brock Jones. Best player available.
Brock Jones.
I could see them going another arm, dude.
They might go another arm.
Schuster's good. Here's the thing with this. I don't look at any. I think these are all decent.
I think he's a dog. I think Kyle Muller's a dog.
But is he ever going to be a frontline guy?
Dude. He's a dog.
He looks great this year.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Still, to make the larger point here, I don't think they have anybody in the system right now where you look at them and you're like, that guy has frontline potential. That guy's up at the big leagues now in Spencer Strider.
And a lot of their arms are high level minor league. So I think maybe you go with a high school arm here.
I could see Brock Porter or Barriera. Yeah. I mean, again, we're getting close to what I trust with the floor is. Also, yeah, Snelling is an option here. But they've got, I mean, they just took a lefty. It's going to be
Steph Curry's hosting the ESPYs.
I'm sure there'll be some really good jokes that he wrote for sure.
When I won my fourth ring, ha ha ha.
Man, the pick's in. Also, Kylie McDaniel ranks the Braves system as the worst.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I mean, they call it up Harris and Strider. Barriera pulled a pretty crazy move. I respect it. I mean, it's his life, but he pitches American Heritage and Plantation in South Florida. And midway through the high school season, shut it down. Not for any injury or anything. Just said, want to focus on the draft and keep myself healthy.
Yeah, I don't.
High school team.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'll never tell anybody what they should do with their life. Obviously, And I can't really identify with it because my career ended there, and I was maybe going to play a few more years in college. That's it. He's looking at 20 years potentially baseball ahead of him. But I think high school baseball is one of your last chances to really play before it's
a job. It's fun in high school.
But at the same time, God forbid something happens, you derail your career to a degree. But like it's Tommy John surgery is really all you're afraid of. It's tough. But what I will say is it probably helped his stock. His arm's fresh.
Helped his stock. Yeah. I mean, last month I watched Duke. There's Dusty. You see him in the one shot right behind there?
I see Dusty.
Yeah.
There's Dusty Baker getting his shot.
Got a haircut for this, huh?
Should. Looking sharp, Dusty.
Yeah. I mean, a month ago I watched Dukanich throw 120 pitches in the state championship game. Dukanich is going to college, but that's not good for teams to see. Like, there are pros and cons to this.
The pick's been in for like 20 minutes. What's your call here? What do you think? I would like Peyton Graham. They don't have any infielders, really. Dansby, we don't even know what the future holds there. Grisham, I think he's moving to the outfield.
Yeah, I'm going to try and find this guy here.
This is the most Braves pick ever.
48. Oh, he's from Riverside Brookfield. That's right here. That's about 15 minutes down the road. So his draft party is probably at one of my local Italian joints. Should I go over there?
6'1", 190 right-hander.
Oh, and man, talk to me.
Two-way prospect. He was an offense. He was a really good hitter as well.
Dude,
they're drafting an athletic hitter.
You see his numbers? Gatorade Player of the Year in Illinois. And Illinois has very solid competition. 58.
These are Mackenzie Gore numbers.
Is that 58 and a third, 1 run, 137 punch outs, and then 548 with 18 bombs?
What the fuck? Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, this guy's a freak.
4 no-hitters, 2 perfect games. And RB plays very good competition. Like this kid, Owen Murphy, is seeing good competition in Illinois.
Fastball with riding action and a mid-80s slider with depth.
Yeah, that works.
You think they're going for Spencer Strider 2.0?
It sounds like riding low to mid-90s, mid-80s slider with depth, and then he also has a mid-70s curveball. Different shapes. Damn, man.
Yankees are going to take Spencer Jones, I think.
Oh, and Link Jarrett just left. That's he's committed to Notre Dame. Link just left for Florida State. This might drive his number down, actually, because they know that he's kind of a sitting duck.
But he could just go. Oh, he signed, I guess, right?
He signed. He'd go. It'll be interesting. All right, we'll stay on for 21, and then that's it. Doing blackjack on night 1. I've enjoyed this, man.
No, this worked, and we had a lot of people in here. And awesome chat, by the way. Thank you.
Everybody. Yeah, you guys have been great.
Yeah, this has been way more activity than I thought we would get.
I thought we would have 5 people in at any time.
I was like, well, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know why though? It's because if you go on Twitter and you refresh, I guess all the other streams are spoiling it. So
yeah,
glad we were able to not spoil it for y'all.
Brash is still considered their top pitching prospect.
What does Seattle do here?
I think you just go best player available.
And who is that?
I don't know.
Oh, I love this.
Cole Young. I like that pick.
That was probably their BPA.
Yes.
I would assume that was their BPA. The high upside shortstop. I don't love Pennsylvania prep guys.
Hendrick? You don't like Austin Hendrick?
Yeah, any jab that I can get at Austin Hendrick. No, I was talking to Pete Flaherty about him because he was a guy that was at the area code games where Pete Flaherty was at. And our guy Pete said, this guy is hit at every single stop through the summer circuit. Just has not stopped hitting. Just does not stop hitting. So I'll take the high school shortstop with a good hit tool. I'm cool with that. It seems like tools across the board plus runner. But what really stood out to me is what Pete said about just the consistency and just not stopping hitting.
No, my understanding of Cole Young before tonight was he's just smooth as shit. And I'll take smooth. Hendrick was the opposite of smooth. Hendrick was just kid that smeared eye black all over his face and hit nukes. And that's what we saw. That's not Cole Young. Cole Young is the kid that shows up and he's just the best player on the field every time.
Yeah, I like it. He looks look at that. See, 420 hitter in tournament games. It's exactly what Pete Flaherty said. The guy hit at every summer circuit spot, everything, every event, whatever you name it, he hit.
Are they flashing his 9-year-old accolades?
Did they do that?
Yeah, MLB National Pitch Hit and Run competition in the 9 to 10 age group.
So he's just always been a dude. He's always been the best player on the field. I like it. I like it.
Man.
You know who I think's going right here?
St. Louis?
This is Barriera. I think this is Barriera. Well, Brandon, you were giving us banger questions, so of course we're going to answer.
Brandon, you were killing it.
And Rob, thank you.
All the love.
Thank you for finding us. We got the podcast, the site, we got everything. We're trying to live stream more, do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. This is the new wave, right? Live streaming and constant interaction.
Talk dirty to me, XX, Mr. Egg XX. SEO turns me on. Like,
I don't think you realize how many hours. That's better
than a spam bot. That's better than anything we got so far.
I don't think you realize how many hours Aram has spent on SEO Zoom calls.
Nauseating amount on SEO Zoom calls. Should we just wait for this Cardinals pick and jump?
Yeah, we were asked some questions about Toronto. Evster, if Evster's still here, comment and tell us if we need to wait till after Toronto picks.
Braden Billiters has been begging us to stay, which I appreciate, dude. I'm happy to stay, but he's like, no, he's been like, the pick's in. You might as well stay a little bit longer. You might as well just react to the pick. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, real quick, I see a comment from Marble here. The Bo Naylor report, dude. Bo Naylor has been raking since he's been active with Columbus. I think Bo Naylor can be the guy. I think he can be better than Lavastida. Naylor's got a ton of talent, and he's an athletic catcher. I really like Bo Naylor.
Barriera.
I like this. That's
a great pick.
Jerpy, great I like it.
They didn't want to go high school. They went college. They need arms. They need arms in the worst way, and they need arms that are going to climb quickly.
Dude, Jerpy might get up like this September. Like, that's what kind of guy Jerpy is. Again, low 3/4, borderline sidearm, whippy, fastball slider. I really love what Jerpy does, to the point where I legitimately think if they're in a pinch, Jerpy might be the guy to get called up in mid-September. If you feel like Libby cannot instill confidence in you, Jerpy could be the guy. I honestly think Jerpy could go to Springfield. Considering how aggressive they are with Walker and Wynn on the position player side, I think Jerpy can start and double, and he can get up as early as this year or beginning of next.
And can I say something?
Yes.
Yes. I think I'm putting him ahead of Matthew Liberatore. I'm not putting him ahead of Mason Wynn, and this ranking is a little bit
skewed. Yeah.
Pitching wise, he is their number one pitching prospect right now. And thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. I'm glad you found us, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Come on back anytime. He's their best pitching prospect, I think. Highest upside, proven in college. It's a tough release point.
That slider, from that release point, the comp hater. Oh, my God.
Now it's fully a draft show.
Dude,
I love the pick, though. It's what the Cardinals needed, and he could be up, like you said, very quickly.
Opponent, lefty hitters this year hit 170 against him. He is a lefty nightmare.
Do you think they're considering bringing him up before the end of the season?
I think he's a swing man in September, man. I think he's a swing man in September. I'll stamp that. I bet Cooper Jerpy is a St. Louis Cardinal before the end of this year.
I love it. That might be one of my favorite picks.
I think that's my mic drop moment.
That might be one of my favorite picks. Is Evster here?
Evster's not here. We didn't get a comment from Evster. Out.
We'll give you 5 more seconds.
Good one to end on with Jerpy.
Yeah, they're still on the clock. That was a sick pick. I think we're good.
That was awesome.
Last question. Where do you think they start him?
Double.
I think they start him in double as well. If you start Jack Leiter in double, you start Cooper Jerpy in double.
Yeah, you start Jerpy in double.
I love it. You start him in double. If he carves there, you could bring him up by the end of the year, like you said.
All right, real quick. Very last question. Where do you start Kumar if you're Texas?
Double. I don't want to waste innings. I don't want to waste any.
Double.
Like, I want to see him.
You have X amount of,
Double. I love it. Well, that'll do it for this stream. It was a success. 2.5 hours. Didn't feel like it. It was a lot of fun. Jack, appreciate you. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Glad you found us on Google or wherever. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, where we'll be doing stuff all the time. We'll be doing more live streams in the future as well. But would love to have you subscribe as we get close to 5,000. check out the Just Baseball show. Check out the call up, as we'll be breaking down this draft way more once it's done on, third, fourth, fifth round, everything. We'll be breaking down the entire draft. Thank you so much, everybody. Really enjoyed this with you. And we will talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure, for the call up and Just Baseball show and all the other content. Check out justbaseball.com as well for written stuff. And thank you again